All right. And we are live, I do believe. Can you guys hear us out there? All right, yeah, we are live, and I do believe that everybody can hear us. How's everybody doing out there tonight? Welcome to episode 9 of season 8 for the Sausage Factory. I'm your moderator, Pizzell. Joining me tonight, we have got Stone Gassman. What's up, Stone? How you doing, man?
Awesome. Just chilling in New York with my Yingling, as per usual, and ready for a very stimulating chat tonight.
Yeah, very nice. How are things up in New York?
Cold. Actually, today it just dipped below 30 degrees, so I actually grabbed my scarf and my gloves, and for the first time, it's getting colder, and I'm sure that we're going to be hit with a lot of snow this year. Really looking forward to that.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Also with me tonight is Jay the Stingray. What's up, Stingray? How you doing, man?
Good. Glad to be here, guys.
Yeah. How's it going, man? What you been into?
Good. Same old.
What are we drinking tonight?
Some Walgreens brand French roast.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
We're classing it up a little bit. I like that. Also with me tonight is Lauren. What's up, Lauren? How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing very well. How are things in New Jersey?
Cold. They're cold, and we get these dustings of snow, and then they disappear by the time we get to like 9 o'clock in the morning. But it seems to be a wash, rinse, repeat cycle. Besides that, not really much going on. I'm glad 2019 is over because it was a horrifically awful year, and I'm hoping that Iran bombings aside, 2020 will be a better year.
I concur. Yes, looking forward to a good 2020. Also with me tonight is Christian Hanna. What's up, Christian? How you doing, man?
Hey, Piz. What's going on, man?
Not too much. What's going on with you? How you been?
I'm good. I had to do a lot of last-minute homework today because certain movies just got released, and I did not go to the theater much, which I'm changing that. So I got a lot of respect for like people that can, reviewers that can sit through multiple movies in a row because it's kind of hard. Not because they're good or bad movies, just like it's kind of draining in a sense. I feel drained right now after going through 3 movies. I'm just like, wow, man. So had to get the old Kruger coffee ready to rock today.
What kind of coffee are you drinking there?
I'm still all American blend, Piz. You should know by now I'm a patriot. So
okay. None of this French roast. Let's call it freedom roast.
There you go.
Freedom roast.
There you
go. Yeah.
Oh, goodness. So, but good to see you guys. Glad you all could make it tonight. I know we've got a couple of members of the Sausage Factory who are down with sickness. So, they are down with the sickness, of course. But yes, our buddy Gibbs, the obsoletionist, is sick tonight with the flu, and our buddy Monty is sick with something. I'm not sure what he's got, but there's quite a bit going around, at least I hear. And I know I've had my my own run-in with the crud here lately, and it's no fun. But let's see who's with us tonight out in the chat and do some shout-outs. We've got Barbecue Network, Adam the Motion Picture History Horror Fan, our buddy Borderline 11, who actually has the show scheduled on his phone as one of his alarms. So appreciate that. Hey, isn't that Devon Graham? Hello, how are you tonight, sir? Movie Man 95, hello. Captain Halloween, our old buddy Chris, down in Louisiana. How are you tonight, sir? Josh O'Brien, Joe Bob Tarhill, DJ Donnelly. How you guys doing tonight? Hope you guys are all doing well. But yeah, we've had quite a little holiday hiatus. I think the last show we did was our commentary with Peter Brackey right before the holidays. So How was your guys' holidays? How's your New Year's going so far? Well, how was your
There were
days?
holidays.
Kind of blew on by.
They go quickly, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they go quickly. Anybody do anything special for New Year's?
I just relaxed with a bottle of gin and some ginger ale. That's all I did. So
Well, that sounds pretty good to me.
yeah.
That sounds pretty good to me. Any big Christmas gifts? Christian, did you land any good horror swag during Christmas this year?
Honestly, Piz, not really. I mean, I just buy everything I want throughout the year, so it's really kind of hard to. Although I see that lovely little Part 3 Chucky out of the box, I'm like, wow, that sucker looks fantastic, man. I think I'm gonna have to get that now.
He does.
I'm sold on it. I'm sold on it, Piz. It looks great. Can you grab it real quick? Is it within arm's reach?
He does look really good. Let me get him up here on the main screen here so everybody can check him out. His his damage there is
Nice.
really detailed, and you can't it goes deep in there too. Like, I don't know if you can see it there in the light, but the damage goes pretty deep up in there.
Piz, I'm sold. I think I'm gonna have to snag one.
And yeah, he's pretty cool. So let's see if I can get him to talk.
That little sucker's got a gun.
We gotta get out of this body.
Yep, he's got a gun. He's got a gun.
Does he say Chucky's gonna be a bro?
Then I've got the.
Oh
No,
my
they excluded that one for some reason. I'm not sure why they excluded that one. But I've also got the Bride of. I got these for Jeremy, thinking Jeremy would love these, but he's like freaked out by these. He doesn't want anything to do with these.
I can't imagine why.
So he's just like, no.
Pretty terrifying.
Yeah. So
Excellent. I'm sorry. Yeah, I just saw it real quick. I was like, wow, you know what? That sucker looks good.
Who put those out, Piz?
Mezco. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna snag that. There we go, Piz. Now I got a late Christmas present, courtesy of myself, because I'm gonna have to go get it. But
Yeah, they're pretty cool. They're pretty cool. But anybody else have any holiday stories or New Year's stories they want to share? No?
Well,
No.
I'll throw out my big story, I guess. But right after New Year's on January 2nd, for those of you who don't know, I do a movie challenge on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And on January 2nd, I asked everybody, okay, so what movie are you looking forward to the most in 2020? And I said, of course, Bill and Ted Face the Music, because like many people, I've been waiting 30 years for this thing, and apparently this kind of took off because I mentioned that it would be awesome to watch all three films together, like they did with the Back to the Future trilogy back in 1990. And Alex Winter, who plays Bill, of course, loved the idea so much that Alamo looked into it, and they said, "Hey, we could do this. Let's do this together." And Alamo's like, "We're all in." So apparently, later in the year, we're going to do Back to the Future. Bill and Ted trilogy at the Alamo Draft House, and everybody seems to be on board for this thing. William Sadler, who plays the Grim Reaper, said he's on board. Many people involved with the cast and crew said they were on board. So this kind of exploded.
that is awesome, man.
Yeah. I sent the image on Twitter again to see if he could show it. If he can't, that's fine. But I could also send it to you all via Twitter direct message. But yeah, this thing exploded. So now Alamo's, I guess it's going to now happen at Alamo's all over the country, because Alex Winter was aggressively, going after the Alamo in LA when somebody else suggested that. So this thing is exploding. Now the question is Keanu Reeves going to go? Well, he's doing Matrix 4 and John Wick 4 right now, and both of those come out on May 21st, 2021, excuse me. So he's probably going to be a little too busy, but everybody else seems to be on board for it. So that's my big story.
All right, there's the
Yes.
there's the tweet string right there.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that would
Yeah,
be
hear it.
that would be really cool to do, a back to back to back with Alex Winter and William Sadler there, and maybe they can even I don't know, do a live via satellite from the set of whatever movie Keanu's on.
Maybe. Oh, and by the way, Ed Solomon, who's also tagged there, he's one of the screenwriters of Bill and Ted, and he, of course, co-wrote Excellent Adventure and Bogus Journey, and, of course, this new one. So I don't know how much you guys are big Bill and Ted fans, but I love those first two movies. I just think that they're just classics. And believe it or not, Excellent Adventure, it's become such a cult hit that they show it in schools.
Yeah.
They show it in schools to generate students' interest in history.
They've been doing that. Sorry to cut you off, but they've been doing that for a long time. They were doing that when I was in high school. And even, I would say even going as far back as middle school, they would show Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure as some sort of like history reference, because there's all these historical characters in it, of course. And it's kind of odd to think that was used as a reference tool, but it was nevertheless,
Well, that was just your Kentucky school tax money at work, wasn't
it? And working, at work and working well.
Piz, you got to enjoy that for all 6 years of high school, right?
6 years. 6 years. I wish. My goodness. Doesn't everybody go to high school for 12 years?
I barely made it through 4.
But that's really cool, Stone. That would be that'd be really freaking cool, man.
Yep.
So
and those, But how can you dislike a movie where they lure Genghis Khan with a Twinkie? I mean, how can you dislike a movie?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you dislike a movie where oh gosh, and I've forgotten his name. Oh my God, the greatest comedian ever is in like a phone booth.
George Carlin.
George Carlin, yes, he's in a phone booth, traveling through time.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
I love to quote Alex Winter, when he says, listen to this dude, Rufus, he knows what he's talking about. Well, I tell people all the time, listen to this dude, George, because he knows what he's talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He definitely, George Carlin, what a comedian. He was awesome.
Yeah, we need, it's too bad George Carlin's not around these days, because we need we need someone like him around these days, But anywho, I'd intended to share some links in the description for places that you guys could go if you're feeling generous and if you want to help the help with what's going on over in Australia, all those bushfires and stuff that's just decimating the countryside over there. And it's just really, really sad. Really, really sad. I'll put a link in the chat right now. It's the Koala Hospital in Australia. That would be a good place to show some support if you guys are, feeling generous or anything like that. But there's that link, and I'm sure there's plenty others out there, legitimate, that you could help with what's going on over there, because it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, they've predicted it's over 500 million animals affected so far.
Mercy.
It's just so sad. So sad. Here is the here's the link to the Australian Red Cross also. So but yeah, it's just it's heartbreaking to see some of those animals just in despair and trying to flee the fire, and they don't understand kind of where to go, and it's just really sad. So
thank you, Pez. Thank you so much for not making me the depressing one tonight.
Well, the show's just started though, Lauren, so we'll see.
We'll get around. We'll let you bring it down further here in just a little bit.
So there's a meteor coming towards Earth.
We've got 2 days left.
2.
We
have the rest of this broadcast. That's it. Make it worth it.
I'm trying to make it, make it better.
One moment I'll never forget in my life, because I was in the Navy for 8 years. I went to Australia 2 times, and I actually hugged a koala bear. I went to a koala bear sanctuary and hugged it. And the thing is, you can only hug it either 3 or 4 hours a day, because most of the time they're passed out on eucalyptus leaves. But I got to visit the kangaroos and everything. I mean, and when I think about what's going on there now, it's just devastating. It's so devastating.
Yeah, I've always wanted to visit Australia. I've always been kind of fascinated with Australia. I've named I don't know how many pets after cities in Australia. I've had Brisbane the cat, Sydney the cat. You know what I mean? So, yeah, just.
It's worth the 20-hour plane ride. It is 100% worth it.
Yeah.
You may not want to leave, but it's worth it.
Yeah. But yeah. So why don't we go ahead and let's dive into the topic at hand tonight. Let's talk about some of our favorite movies and Blu-ray releases of 2019. My goodness.
I prepared for entirely the wrong show.
Mad Max Fury Road, hands down.
But our favorite movies and Blu-ray releases of 2019. Why don't we start with our favorite movie releases, and then we'll swing around after that to our favorite Blu-ray releases. So who would like to get us started with their personal favorite movies of 2019? Why don't we keep it to about your top 5, and then we can come around if you've got some more that maybe your top 7 or 8, and we'll pick those up later. Okay. So let's see, who should we start with tonight? Let's start with I see Christian over there looking at his notes. Christian, are you ready? You ready to bat lead off?
He's doing his algebra homework.
I guess so. All right, the list to end all lists.
Oh boy.
Let me start with what my number 1 of the year was. Although I never saw this until today, it definitely was A Lighthouse. I was really mesmerized by that movie. The Green Goblin, what's his name? William Dafoe. Jesus Christ. Oh. What a performance. I had to put the subtitles on, because otherwise I would have, not understood anything. But, put the subtitles on perfectly fine. I really loved Last Blood. I thought that was just a kick in the ass. I loved it. I loved The Irishman. I really did. I liked Ready or Not. And I'm saying movies that I didn't say in my other video, by the way. I did love The Joker. Literally just finished it and came in here. I really, really loved The Joker. And I'm not a superhero guy, but when I saw the trailer for that, I was like, that looks just like a really good movie. So I love that. And I'll give it up to Game Over, because when Lauren sent me that movie gave me nightmares. I'm for 4 or 5 days. So yeah, but Lighthouse is my favorite. Lighthouse really blew me away.
You're talking about that speech that William Dafoe gives, where he's talking about farts and.
Well, yeah, it was really, man. It was such a what a bizarre, incredible movie. Is that what you call? Because I'm ignorant. Is that what you call art house film?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So it's I would see people on Facebook compare Ari Aster with his 2 movies, and then this gentleman, I forget his name, that did The Witch, and this
Robert Eggers.
Robert, at this moment in time, as much as I love both of them, I am more of a Robert fanboy, because that guy is able to get into a deeper layer of my soul than Ari does. But that's not saying Ari, I don't think his films aren't good, but Lighthouse is my favorite of the year. Done. Wow.
Yeah, I know Lauren was a big fan of The Lighthouse. Has anybody else seen The Lighthouse? Stingray or
I've wanted to. I haven't gotten around to it yet.
Stone, did you see The Lighthouse?
Oh, I saw it in the theater. Yeah.
Okay, well, what was your thoughts on Lighthouse?
Oh, well, I loved it. I mean, I'm a huge fan of The Witch, and I've been waiting for The Lighthouse for the longest time. I mean, I loved Willem Dafoe in it, and I really hope that he, at the very least, gets nominated for an Oscar. But Robert Pattinson really impressed me, and I was going to check out. I know that in a previous podcast we were talking about there was another movie called The Lighthouse. It came out a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
I did see that one on accident.
Similar mermaid screwing and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was going to check that out too, but I really loved The Lighthouse. That was brilliant. I love the black and white photography. Love the aspect ratio, which suggested like the silent era. It felt very much like a film that was made back in the early 20th century. So I mean, I really adored it.
Yeah, I saw it. I think I respected it more than I liked it. It's definitely not the kind of movie I think I would ever watch again. But I mean, there's no denying the performances are just phenomenal. William Dafoe, when he's giving that speech and he's all wide-eyed, I mean, that's just phenomenal acting. And you know, I think Robert Pattinson, if Robert Pattinson hadn't done the Twilight movies, people would be talking about him in a much different light, I think.
He's a great actor.
He's a good actor.
He is a damn good.
Without question, at this point, I've never seen the Twilight movies. I really hope you haven't either, Piz. I'm gonna assume you haven't.
I've seen some of them. Yes.
Oh my god. Oh.
Actually a really fun night at the movies was when I went and watched the first Twilight with coworkers.
Yeah.
And I was literally the only adult male there, and I was laughing the entire time.
Really?
And like these, 15, 16-year-old girls looking over their shoulder at me, like, I thought I was going to be attacked by a horde of like 15-year-old girls because I was laughing.
Like you would have minded that.
Don't answer that.
I was laughing at their Twilight, and that was just a sin. But I mean, it was so, I don't know, if you've not seen that movie, it's so awkward. Everything about it is just so awkward that I just find it so hilarious. But that was actually a pretty fun movie-going experience. Packed out theater. I was probably the only adult male over 21 in there, and just laughing under my breath the entire time.
So what color trench coat did you wear in?
No, nothing like that. I went in there just,
My favorite part of the first one is when the vampires go out in daylight and play baseball.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Hey Piz, if I could add one more thing, because I thought about this when I was getting ready to see The Lighthouse. Everything about it sounds completely like something I would not like. And the irony is, my wife loves old 30s black and white movies. She loves them. That's her favorite era. I don't, and it's what for me. And my wife doesn't argue with me about it. I don't know if this is just my opinion. To me, when I watch it, it's like it's over dramatic play acting, and I don't get lost in the movies. Now, she would tell me when I watched The Godfather, she said the guy who was the first Godfather, his name was what was his name?
Marlon
Brando. She said, well, Christian, let me show you some old movies with him. He was just ahead of his time. And she did, and I was like, wow, he does really act. And these other, like in the movies, he's so jarring because he's like literally this character, and these other people, they look like they're acting. I'm not disparaging that in any way. It's just my opinion. But this movie felt real, like, because it was like using this old technology, but these guys were insanely into these performances, like, especially the Green Goblin. It felt so real to me. It was incredible, So the movie ended up just blowing my mind. I have a lot of questions, but I don't want them answered because it was such a bizarre, beautiful film. I loved it. So,
Christian, did you think that the most brutal murder scene of the year would involve a freaking bird?
Dude, truly just nuts. Is it true that the camera was actually was that all filtering and stuff they did, or did they really use old technology besides sound? Because the sound was disgustingly good through my sound bar watching the movie. But did they use an old camera, Stone? Are you shaking your head? Yeah.
I believe he did. I need to look it up real quick.
So But yeah, I just want to say, like, for a movie that I am the 99%, as I joke around saying all the time, and I like, my bread and butter, my George Romero movies, and I did not know what to expect with that, and it ended up becoming my favorite movie of the year. It just truly was a fever. It was a fever dream, so I loved it. I loved it a lot.
Very, very
I
cool.
was so nervous for Christian because I didn't know how he was going to take the movie. I really didn't. So this is very good to hear. This is very good to hear.
Yeah.
Were there any other movies on Christian's list that you guys want to discuss
Well, Ready or Not is like the underdog of the year. Because I don't know about you guys, but I saw the trailer. I said, that might be fun. Maybe. If I have an afternoon free, maybe I'll see a matinee. I didn't give it any... I didn't think that movie had any heat on it. But when you got there and you realized that this was like the most fun movie of the year, which I think it is, I was blown away that we got something with that much of anarchic spirit in it in a commercial film release. I think it's one of those films that is going to age really, really well, and it's going to be a lot of people's favorite film in the future. Like there's going to be an entire cult that builds around that film, the way that classic slashers today, from the late 70s, early 80s, get that kind of love now. I think this movie's going to get it. It's just the rare bird.
Yeah, I went into that one with really no expectations, and I walked out really, really pleased.
Ready or not?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, I'm just getting my damn watch list with like 1,000 movies on it. I add more to it now.
It almost felt like the movie had like this Western tone. Like the movie was very burnt red and orange, like the look of the film. I don't know if it was like some kind of like lighting or filter they put over the movie, but in the house it felt very like it almost looked like there was some kind of like a filter. On iMovie there's called a Western filter, and it takes your image and it makes it really burnt, like orange and red, the color. And I saw that throughout the movie, which was cool. So I like the way the movie looked, and the house was really cool. I love when I see these really ritzy, nice houses in movies, because I like daydream, like, oh, I'd love to live there. But it looked really cool visually. Love the way the movie looked.
Yeah, the color grading on that film is amazing.
Yeah, see, there's the proper way to say that.
Not a problem. I got you.
And I thought the lead actress, I can't think of her name off the top of my head, was really good.
Samara Weaving?
Samara Weaving,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah, I thought she was really good. Really good.
Oh, and Christian, Christian, The Lighthouse was shot on Panavision Millennium XL2 cameras that were equipped with a vintage 1930s Baltar lens, of which black and white Eastman XX522 film was used with a custom short pass filter. It evoked 19th century photography, orthochromatic aesthetic.
So I wonder where they got it, because Eastman film is gone.
I don't know.
That's got to be that's crazy.
So is the film in black and white?
Yeah.
It is.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
And it's shot on an aspect ratio that's like
1.19.
Yeah, if you've got a widescreen TV, there's more black on your screen than actual image.
Which I thought was going to be an issue for me at first, but after 15 minutes, I was like, "What aspect ratio?" I'm in the world of the movie, so
Yes.
Yeah.
God, I can't get the movie out of my head. Truly bizarre. Truly bizarre.
And
The
the movie
reason
has
why-
a thematic reason. Go for it, Storm.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say the reason why I fell in love with movies in the first place is because I feel it's really the only way that we could travel through time. When I was watching The Lighthouse, I truly felt like I was in the 1890s, stuck on this atoll with these two guys. I mean that's yeah.
I almost wonder if people are going to think that, this did good. Let's all make a bunch of these. I really doubt anybody's going to have the gall to try to do that. And I hope not. What's really nice about that, Stone, was it was this really unique experience I just had. I don't want to see another movie like that next week. I want to just have that movie, and then once every couple years, these directors do a hard left when everybody thinks they're going to go right. You know what I mean? And we get something like that. It's so fun. So
Nobody's going to do anything like that anytime soon, because they're going to be remaking The Howling.
Oh,
So.
Yeah, the Lighthouse is too unique. It's just too unique.
Right.
Was this another A24?
Of course it was.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man, they have been knocking it out of the park lately, dude.
Oh,
I've seen
yeah.
so many good films from them just in 19.
Yeah.
Because they're embracing the idea that horror is a wide field that you can do a lot of different things with. They're just not repeating. And they've built a brand on being both literate and really creative. It's really kind of crazy that we can't get more like it, because Lighthouse, for an independent film, a true independent, did very, very well. As a film of its budget, it did very well. But it's the kind of thing whereas it's chump change compared to Avengers money.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So
absolutely.
I think A24 and any other company that wants to compete with them, because I do think that is coming. I think we could see things that are relative to it, but I don't see anyone repeating anything A24 is doing. I don't see a Witch ripoff out there. I don't see a Midsummer ripoff coming. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah.
The whole point of the label is creativity.
Yeah. It's not going to happen.
It's like exactly what we need.
It is.
Yeah, very much. Yeah.
Like I'm trying to watch everything they do. Like I've got a list. I'm checking them off.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I'm so like their track record is like 90%.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
loving their stuff.
Yeah. I really want to see Uncut Gems. Anybody see Uncut Gems yet?
I did. I loved it. Adam Sandler. I've never been a huge fan of him, but he knocked it out of the park. I mean, considering this is a guy that made a career off of fart jokes. I mean, he just blew me away in Uncut Gems. But I mean, it's from the guys that made Good Time.
Yeah.
Which I know you liked and Piz liked. Yeah. These guys are rock stars right now. They're really going to go far. But of course, there was a lot of discussion on Twitter about, so what superhero movie are they going to do? No. Let them do their own thing.
Yeah.
Let them do their own thing because they're really doing great right now.
I didn't realize that they were the ones behind Uncut Gems. I was just I heard all the buzz and checked it out, and I was like, shit, I should have seen this 2 weeks ago, because I loved Good Time. And, this is like I had to marinate on this one for a minute because, I mean, no spoilers here, but it's got a little bit of a traumatic ending. And it really kind of, I don't know, man, it was kind of unsettling to me a little bit. So I had to kind of sit on it for a minute to think and, decide whether or not I really enjoy it or not, because the film is so like you're on your seat the entire time. It kind of like gave me anxiety the whole time.
Well, we're talking about we're talking about that Adam Sandler movie, right? Because I've not seen a trailer. All I've seen is what looks like Adam Sandler sucking up a condom up his nose on the front cover. Is that what he's doing?
I don't think so.
No.
You made the film so much more interesting to me at this moment.
Hey, don't lie, Stone. Don't lie. It does kind of look like that from first glance. You know them kids nowadays doing the condom challenge. They're sucking that thing up their nose.
Yeah, I've seen that. Unfortunately, can
everyone just thank Christian right now? Just thank you, Christian. That's what we needed in our life.
Yeah.
Movie Man 95 mentions in the chat that Jaws is being remade as well now.
No, I think that's just a rumor.
But see, that's you've got it. Whenever we got this covered.com is the king of clickbaity kind of stuff like that. So anything that comes through we got this covered.com, you've got to take with a grain of salt.
I've heard that there is motion on it, but it's a television project, and it didn't come from a shady website.
Yeah.
Why?
There's
Why?
So it's like the wallet wasn't quite full enough. That's why.
I will only support a Jaws remake if Eli Roth directs it. That's my only stipulation.
I think they're going high drama with it. I don't think it's even going to be part of the genre. I'm serious. I mean, what I don't know.
Well, that makes Eli Roth. That makes Eli Roth the perfect director.
Well, I've heard that it's more like the terror television show is what they're going for as a balance. But
okay, I don't know. That's ridiculous. Just leave Jaws alone. Just leave Jaws alone.
Leave him alone.
Listen, we're going to get to a point where all the sacred cows get remade in some form. I mean, don't forget, Bates Motel with Psycho. There shouldn't really be anything more sacred to the genre than that. So all this stuff's going to happen. Eventually there'll be a Godfather television series, I'm sure. Because why not?
If they
Cameron had posted about the Howling remake, and I know Christian was kind of upset about it, but I don't really give a shit, man. They've already remade like everything that I love. So
Yeah, and this is going to be some kind of Netflix. It's not even. It's like a Netflix movie. It's not going to be, but it's the dude that directed the new It movies, Andy Muschietti. So, whatever.
Yeah, but what sucks about it, it's not even like big, like all the big stuff for the most part. Besides obviously Jaws and stuff has been made. We're doing like medium tier movies. Because look, if I go out the street right now and I say, "Hey, have you seen The Howling?" They're gonna say, "What the hell is that?" And, we're getting to the level of doing like mid tier horror movie remake. Like, leave this. Why are we not remaking Caddyshack? Why is horror prostituted? Why are we not remaking Caddyshack? Why are we not remaking, freaking, you name it, Fletch? Why are we not remaking all that? It's horror that is prostitute.
Well,
it's crap.
We're at the point now where they're remaking movies. They remake Black Christmas. So
wait, which Halloween are you talking about?
Exactly.
Did anybody see Black Christmas, by the way?
Guys, I have an idea. Can we remake Carrie for the 4th time?
Yes, let's do that.
Is it only 4? God,
that's where we're at.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Well, I'm not including the what was the sequel? What was the subtitle?
The Rage.
The Rage. That's right.
The Rage.
That one actually wasn't too bad, I think, from what I remember.
And The Rage Carrie 2 is actually connected to one of the ones on my list when we get to it. But anyway.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah,
interesting.
Here we go.
Very interesting.
Somebody's playing the Kevin Bacon game.
Well, let's.
Can you take a guess?
But to answer your question, Stone, I've not seen it. I don't think anybody here's seen it. I don't think very many people saw that movie in the theater.
I'm kind of boycotting it, actually.
What about The Grudge? Did anybody see The Grudge?
I think Lauren saw it.
How bad was it?
Have you seen any of the previous Ju-On or Grudge films?
No.
Keep it
Unfortunately
that
not.
way.
Ah.
I'm a big fan of the first 2 Ju-On films, and by that I mean the theatricals. The television movies before that are okay, but the theatricals are better. The American films have been mediocre and have not aged well. This new one aged worse while I was watching it than the ones from a decade ago. This new film is bad. It's a straight up. This is one of those rare cases where the cinema score is right. It is an F. I gave it a D-, and the more I think about it, it really is an F. It's a disaster. It's a horrible film.
And that's such a shame because the guy that made it, he made one of my favorite horror movies of the past decade. Nicholas Pesce, who made The Eyes of My Mother.
Oh, that's right.
I love that film.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
The Eyes of My Mother. Absolutely great movie, and it's just a shame. It's so sad.
Well, let's. Well, go ahead, Lauren.
Well, it's just if there are any fans of the series out there, you know that they have this concept of playing with time periods, and that because to the ghosts of the Grudge, time doesn't matter. It's all random access. So we kind of get the stories in kind of a chaotic order, and then they come together at the end, and all the time periods converge. And that's kind of the structure of those movies. This tries to do that kind of half-heartedly, but screws it up so badly that you just end up with this movie it's like jigsaw puzzle pieces from different jigsaw puzzles. So it doesn't really come to anything. It doesn't mean anything. It's not effective. There's some gore in it, but even people are overplaying that. There's nothing in it that rises to even like a Final Destination movie. So I just don't see any compelling reason to watch it. I supported it because I support everything coming out of the genre, and the trailer was one of the best cut trailers of years in the genre. And I give it all the credit. Whoever cut that trailer deserves any money that movie makes.
Yeah, I agree. The trailer looked really good. The trailer got me excited for the movie.
Yeah, it was a good trailer. They should just put that on the Blu-ray.
Whoever cut the trailer should have cut the movie, I guess. But
yeah.
Well, let's move on. Stone, why don't you go ahead? You've got the floor.
Oh, yes. So, well, as I said, there's a connection between The Rage Carrie 2 and one on my list. Now, if all of you remember director Kat Shea, she made several cult films like Strip to Kill, which I very much like, Poison Ivy, and Rage Carrie 2 was actually her last movie for 20 years. And this year she finally put out a brand new movie. And in all honesty, look, I grew up reading Nancy Drew books. So, look, I went to see Nancy Drew and the Hidden Staircase. Finally, after 80 years and many, many attempts, they finally got the characters right. Warner Brothers finally got the characters right. Kat Shea did a great job directing it, and it's got Sophie Lillis from the It movies. So I highly recommend Nancy Drew and the Hidden Staircase. It got a limited release, but that's very good. Also on my list, I have David Robert Mitchell's second film, Under the Silver Lake. Now, I got to confess, all the love for A24 right now is awesome, and believe me, they're putting out the best movies right now. How they treated Under the Silver Lake, though, is I can't fathom why. They basically it had a rather negative reaction to Cannes. And then they kind of backed away from it, almost like, pretending like they didn't want to be associated with it. And I mean, I'm not going to reveal what happens in it, but if you're a fan of the director's It Follows, which came out several years before, please check out Under the Silver Lake. It's gorgeously filmed. It's a great noir mystery that I think that not a lot of people saw. Andrew Garfield is terrific in it. So that's number 2.
Let me stop you right there, Stone. Has anybody else seen Under the Silver Lake? Because that's a movie that I've been really curious about for a while.
I don't want to stop Stone and what he's talking about, so I'll save my comments for later.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, no problem.
Go ahead, Stone.
And of course, I have Uncut Gems on my list, and John Wick Chapter 3. This franchise is just kick-ass in every way, shape, or form. Keanu Reeves is just killing it right now. And if he's trying to break the box office next year with Chapter 4, and I think he's already succeeded. Because, I'm a huge fan of the John Wick films. And but my favorite movie of the year, period, I saw it twice in the theater, and it's the only movie that came out last year that made me cry, and that is Jennifer Kent's The Nightingale, which is it's powerful as hell. It's about an Irish convict who works in servitude in 1825 Australia during the Black War, and this British Army unit refuses to release her so she can be with her husband and live in peace and everything. So they basically murder her family, rape her a number of times, and she decides to seek vengeance through the treacherous Tasmanian wilderness with an Aboriginal tracker. And with Australia right now, let me tell you something about The Nightingale. It swept the Australian Academy Awards. It won Best Picture, it won Best Actress, it won Best Director, Best Screenplay, Best Casting, and Best Supporting Actress. It swept the Australian Academy Awards with like 14 nominations, and it won 6. It's probably not going to get any other kind of awards, but the fact that it got that far is a miracle unto itself, because few people saw it, but it's one of the gorgeous. It's just so gorgeous. I mean, I was probably going to go with The Lighthouse as my favorite movie of the year, but look, I chose The Witch when that came out 5 years ago. So this year I had to give it to Jennifer Kent. So I warn you, it's very hard to watch. There's a lot of sexual assault in it, and it's very, very shocking. But it's so beautifully made, and it made history. It made history in Australia. I mean, and it's slowly but surely getting out there. It's being released by Shout Factory on Blu-ray on February 4th. However, it is available for streaming, I know for a fact, on Hulu right now.
Oh, okay.
So
I got that.
if you're gonna check it out, that's the way to go. But yeah, that Nancy Drew and the Hidden Staircase, Under the Silver Lake, John Wick Chapter 3, Uncut Gems, The Lighthouse, and as one more as an honorable mention, I did see Greta Gerwig's Little Women a week after Uncut Gems. Excellent adaptation. I don't know if any of you would be interested in it, but I thought it was really well done.
I've seen The Nightingale. It was pretty close to making my list, but pretty much everything you said about it, I would second. Really well made. The lead actress does just an awesome job. The guy who plays her Aboriginal guide, I thought was phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, difficult to watch in parts, pretty brutal in other parts.
Yeah.
But yeah, just really good movie. Jennifer Kent is definitely,
fearless.
Yeah, great. Yeah,
that's the word, is fearless. Yes.
And
definitely.
And a great filmmaker. I mean, between this and The Babadook, I mean, she's directing great films. Hopefully, she'll get some more recognition over here in the States, and be able to, spread her wings over here and make some really good movies. But yeah. And Under the Silver Lake, that's one that I've been kind of curious about for a while. I loved It Follows. Love that movie absolutely to death.
It's nothing like It Follows whatsoever.
Right.
Nothing.
Right. Mm-hmm. But I know you saw it, Stingray. Your thoughts on Under the Silver Lake?
No, I saw half of it.
Okay.
Oh.
Were you not feeling it?
Well, I wasn't a fan.
It kind of divided people. I noticed it was very polarizing across the board.
Maybe I need to watch it
ahead.
again, Stone. Maybe I was just not in the right headspace when I saw it. Sometimes I do that, so I'll give it a watch.
Okay.
Anybody else seen Under the Silver Lake?
I've not.
Okay. That one's definitely on my list, though.
Cole had actually recommended it to me, earlier in the year. So I seeked it out, and I just was not into it. I don't know what it was. I mean, I like Andrew Garfield. I like Elvis's granddaughter or whatever. But I was just not into it.
Okay.
But that's just me.
Okay. Fair enough. But yeah, if you guys haven't seen, The Nightingale, I would recommend it. Just be aware it can be difficult to watch in certain spots.
It's brutal. Mm-hmm. It's really brutal.
Let's see. Stingray, what you got on your list, man?
Man, I just want to preface this with I've been busy trying to watch as many films as I can. I haven't seen Parasite. I haven't seen The Lighthouse. It's some of the ones I really, really want to watch. And it's unfortunate neither one of them were released in my area, or I would have seen them in the theater. But okay, I'll start with The Fanatic. The John Travolta masterpiece. I really had a lot of fun with that film. So that's on my list. It's gonna be a controversial list, obviously. And I've also got Glass on my list. I think I'm one of the only people that actually really liked Glass. Because I've liked the other two films. I'm actually a fan of Shyamalan, unlike a lot of people. And let's see. I saw Uncut Gems last night, so I'm going to put that on there. We already talked about that. Wounds. Have any of you guys seen Wounds?
I wanted to see that one. I didn't get the opportunity.
It's got that Army Hammer guy in it. Mm-hmm. It's the stupidest name ever. But and then Don Johnson's daughter's in it too.
I heard good things about it.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's a body horror. Mm-hmm. I'm a big fan of those. So it's nice, kind of like a psychological body horror thriller that keeps you guessing. And let's see, how many is that? Well, I just throw this out. Nobody else is going to mention it. So Richard Jewell was really good. I like that a lot. It's exactly what you think it's going to be. Clint Eastwood's a great filmmaker, and it's a great film. Like a great film to throw on and like watch with your parents or something, And I'll finish it out with my favorite film of the year so far is Midsummer, of course.
Okay.
That's beautifully disgusting. That's how I describe that film. It's cinematography, the look of the film is so beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Florence Pugh was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she also played Amy in Little Women. She's
really?
going to be going far in the next
Yeah.
few years.
Yeah, I was surprised I hadn't seen her in anything
Well,
else.
she's actually. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. She did that. She did Little Women, but she's also going to be the villainess this summer in Black Widow, opposite Scarlett Johansson. So, she's getting up there. She's going to be a force to reckon with in the next few years.
Cool. Yeah, I just could not get on board with Midsummer. I don't know. Maybe I was in a bad mood when I saw it. I don't know. I just couldn't get into it. There were things I really liked about it. Visually, it was a trip. There's no denying that. I don't know. I didn't jibe with any of the characters. I don't know. I didn't find it shocking. Everybody that I'd heard from about that movie talked about how shocking it was and disturbing, and it didn't do that for me. But,
did you think it was derivative of The Wicker Man, or
a little bit? Yeah.
Totally. I mean, sure.
I wouldn't say that it was like a Wicker Man ripoff, but there was a little Wicker Man in there.
I hadn't seen The Wicker Man.
I went into Wicker Man is amazing. I went into this year
Nicolas
with
Cage version.
Yeah, with the bees. Yeah.
Fuck you.
Just watch the Nicolas Cage version, Christian.
CGI bees.
Is
awesome.
Debbie Sue Voorhees in it in that version? Is that why?
No, but Nick Cage and bees. Okay.
They're easy to confuse the two. I understand.
Well, I'll watch it, and you can book the commentary for next week.
Oh, that'll be good.
So, God. I went into this year with Midsummer being my most anticipated film, and it didn't make my top 10 list, but barely. So I have to be honest. It didn't live up to my expectations based on The Witch. I think The Witch is a far, 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 far superior film. But there's a lot to love about Midsummer, and it's a brave, beautiful film in a lot of ways. But it's also a film that's a little bit in love with itself, and I think that kept popping me out of it. It's a little overlong. It's a little bit smug about some of its decisions.
Sure.
But that said, I would rather 7 Midsummers come out every weekend than having to deal with one grudge. So it'd be really dishonest for me to say that it was anything but, number 9 on my list. But I really thought going into this year that it would be in my top 3. I really, really had that kind of confidence in the title. And then I started getting afraid of the title because I wanted it to be good so bad that I was probably the last one on the panel to see it. Even though I was so excited to see it, I was terrified it wasn't going to live up to my expectations. And unfortunately, it didn't quite get there. So,
I really liked that movie.
I didn't love it as much as Hereditary, but I still liked it. I wouldn't mind revisiting it.
Yeah, Hereditary is a masterpiece.
My thing with Midsummer, because I didn't see that in theaters, I'm not going to name any names because it's nobody here, but some of the people I'm friends with Facebook on, they all were like, "Oh, it's all style and no substance." I was like, okay. So I'll watch it, and I was like, are you kidding me? This was like a beautiful, dark fairy tale about a girl who finally found her place. She found her family in the most twisted way. And I was like, some of these opinions people have, they really make me scratch my head. It's like, did you watch the movie, or did you go in the theater and do this? You got the leg tapping. This movie sucks. This movie sucks. I can't wait to get out of here so I can talk shit about it on YouTube.
It's the same thing people said about The Witch, man.
The Witch is badass.
Probably the best horror film of the past 2 decades,
I can
won't go that far, but it's up there.
Yeah, everything Lawrence said about it, that's cool. I can completely see that. But when some of these opinions, Piz, I swear to God, you have got some of these. If you had to be taxed for your opinion, some of these idiots would just shut up about some of the crap they say because it is absolutely ridiculous. It is ridiculous. I don't know how many reviews of movies you watch, Piz, but some of them, they drain my battery on my phone twice as fast when some of this crap comes out of their mouth.
I think there's something to be. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say if it's a movie that I want to watch, I won't watch reviews. If it's a movie I don't care about, I might watch a review. But
that's my problem. I need to stop. I guess I'm sorry. I'm not mad, but some of these stuff I hear people say, I can't fathom it. I truly can't fathom it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, I've been on the receiving side of that, so I'm a little bit sympathetic to people who just don't connect with that everyone else connects with, because I know how that feels. In the case of Midsummer, my only thing that makes it number 9 on my list and not number 3 on my list is that the movie is, like Christian is saying, about a girl who finds her place. More importantly, she's searching for the whole film for someone to have just real empathy with how she's feeling, and no one does. And she finds people who have exactly that, which is which is pretty explicit in the final act. For my money, too explicit. They spend too much time making sure you get the point. So to hear that people didn't get the point is
that's all I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm not saying everybody's got to like it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying to say it was no substance and all style. I'm just like, you didn't watch it. You truly just didn't watch the movie. That's all I'm getting at. Yeah.
Dude, I was like almost in tears in the first like 5 minutes. You know what all happens to this girl?
Horrifying.
The first act is by far the strongest part of the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a shame it didn't come out on 4K because that outdoor, it seems like natural light gets the best visual. And it's a shame that we didn't get a 4K that movie because, it probably looked fantastic on 4K.
Sure
I finally got a 4K player, so
cool.
I'm ready to roll now. So
the one sequence that I really did like was when they took the 2 older people up on the mountain.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic!
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah,
you're like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah. I was like, something really. I was like, something really twisted is gonna happen here. Okay, let's see what's going on. But good stuff.
But yeah, it's kind of like of what you guys are saying about the lighthouse and the witch and stuff. It's kind of really hard to compare it to Hereditary because it is like a very different film with the exception of very brutal content. Like shockingly brutal content in there. And speaking about that, I wanted to mention real quick. I watched Hereditary with my kids the other night.
Holy crap!
What'd they have to say?
That movie scared the shit out of me, like as a grown ass man. And I was like, okay, this is definitely going to give them nightmares, and they'll shut up. But no, dude, my youngest, like when the scariest part to me, when the lady like saws her head off, floats up into the treehouse, she was on the ground laughing so fucking hard. I think I've got like a psychopath on my hands.
Wow.
No, I think that A24 are for an older audience. I think that millennials won't get what we get out of them.
Yeah.
I think that is explicitly true.
Well, my girlfriend definitely did not get Hereditary. She was ready to break up with me after I took her to that movie. She hated it. She hated it and the part where the headless Tony Collette floats into the treehouse. Yeah. That was the part where she was just like, oh God, she was like ready to, Dude,
that was terrifying to me. That whole scene when she was banging her head against the
I think it was more the that it's because I kept telling her because she's freaked out about anything that involves demons, and I kept telling her no, it's not no demons in here. It's just nothing like that.
Literally, the movie's about Pam the demon.
Yeah, no demons, none of that. And then of course it's about a demon. So anyway,
yeah, that movie, man.
I have a Midsummer question. I'm not sure if you saw the longer 171-minute cut, but if you have, which version do you think is preferable?
I'm not sure. I bought it on Vudu when it came out. I'll have to check the length on it.
I know my buddy Drew. He imported the foreign Blu-ray, which is director's, and he's like, I know he'll never not watch the director's cut. I know he said that the dialogue is longer, and he saw it in theaters. He went to one of those draft houses, and they did a special director's cut viewing of it, and he was like, oh my God, it's even better. It's even better. Why did they cut all this stuff out? So he loves the director's cut of that movie. So
I don't need it to be longer. I think I'm good with what I have.
Yeah.
It's a very slow burn of a film.
Yeah,
the pacing. That's what's going to throw off a lot of modern audiences. But I think along with The Witch, I think that's what makes the film so great. That build of tension.
But you see, the thing is, I loved the characters in The Witch, and I was right there with them. All the characters, by the way, even the ones that were not sympathetic. I loved everyone. I wanted to spend time in that world. Whereas Midsummer, again, it's a movie about a girl trying to have people feel what she feels, and I really never did. It didn't have the emotional connection that I really wanted from it. But that sounds like I'm being the most critical on the board of this film, and that's not true. It's just my expectations were so high. so high for this film, and in years to come, it'll become more favorable to me, I think, with that distance. But right now, it is what it is.
Was It Comes at Night a A24 movie?
I believe so.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it
What's
was.
your guys' thoughts on that movie? I don't hear many people talk about that movie anymore.
I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Oh, okay.
It's
I gotta
a good
rewatch
film. It's
it.
just not what people think it's going to be.
Right.
Yeah.
The trailer was misleading, is what the problem.
Extremely misleading. Yes.
It's not really a horror film, really. It's a thriller.
Yeah.
It's a movie about whether you put your parents in a home.
Well, kind of. Yeah. Yeah. I can
That's
see
what
that.
the movie is.
I can
yeah.
see that. I can
I
definitely
need
see
to
that.
rewatch that because I definitely went into it with the yeah, bro, let's watch some badass horror, and then I didn't finish it, but this was right when it came out, so I need to rewatch that.
I thought it was a great movie. It's one of those movies like, I'm never going to revisit. You know what I mean? It's like it was a great movie, but I'll never go back to it, So I don't need to own it, don't need to rewatch it. It was a great movie. But yeah. Another good A24 flick. Let's see. Let's move on. Let's see what you got on your list, Lauren.
Before I say that, I just want to say one more thing about A24, which is that love them or hate them, we just spent 20 minutes discussing the company and their product.
Yep.
You don't see that from anyone else.
Yeah.
So if you hate everything they produced, at least they're bringing a conversation that's not just, the typical horror conversation about who's the hottest girl in the series or who, which film has the most blood. They're bringing something else that should be, championed every day.
When we get to my list, we're going to talk about 45 minutes to an hour about Blumhouse.
I doubt we might actually.
Because
You're right.
every movie on my
But it's
list
not
is
going to
a
be a good
Blumhouse.
conversation. Just wait till this year. By the end of this year, Blumhouse won't have fans. Anyway, I'm not kidding. So if you've seen my video, you pretty much know my top 10. So I'm just going to roll through. But I do want to say that I make a list every year, and it's specifically for the horror genre because that's what's closest to my heart. There are films that aren't strictly horror that I really love this year, and if I did a bigger list, they'd probably eke their way on somewhere. So movies like Zombieland, Double Tap, and One Cut of the Dead, which I love both films for what they are, they're not on this list, and that's because I don't make lists outside the genre. Now, maybe that's a mistake. Maybe I should widen my perspective, but it's not who I am. So I'm going to go from 10 to 1, and I'll do this pretty fast. The Indian slasher film Ulather Kalam is a great film. If you like final girl chases, you get over an hour of that in this film, and it features Nayanthara in the lead role. She's awesome. Midsummer was next. We just spoke about that for quite a while. Number 8, Villains, which is a film that unfortunately didn't get nearly the exposure. It pretty much was a Regal exclusive in theaters. It played for a week and disappeared. If you like movies like Heathers and a little bit of Natural Born Killers, though not with that style, just with that kind of satirical edge, Villains is the way to go. In number 7, The Pool, which was the best film this year about being trapped with an alligator, well, in this case, a crocodile in an enclosed space. Not necessarily for pet lovers, but I found the movie to be wonderfully subversive, and it was great to see something in a really small setting just never feel like long and plotting. It felt like every moment was just absolute wonderful and exciting. We had number 6 was Sick and Six, or Six Jin Six, which is the end of that saga, we're told. It's a kind of a brutal experience, and I can't wait for more people to get on board that train and finish the series. Coming to number 5, Parasite. Now, Parasite is a film that needs no introduction. It's winning all the awards everywhere it goes, and it deserves them. It's a wonderful study in class warfare, and it is part of the horror genre. It's about a certain type of decay that it's almost a plague movie. And I think Parasite is simply brilliant. That said, I don't know how often I'll revisit it in life. It's not necessarily a movie that you're going to watch over and over and over. I think it's really good on limited viewings. Number 4 is probably the one that's going to surprise everyone the most, which is Godzilla King of the Monsters. And What I'd say here is that if you grew up with a black and white television on a Saturday afternoon, you're of a certain age. I don't know how you didn't love Godzilla King of the Monsters, because it was a Godzilla film. Finally, we haven't got a legitimate full force Godzilla film from this country or Japan for many, 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 many years. This was that. This was everything those movies were. And when I hear complaints that, oh, we spent too much time with the people, did you watch the original movies at all? Because there's more Godzilla and more monsters in this new one than there was in any of those old ones. I see a lot of ridiculous complaints. I love it. I felt they got the characters right, both the human and the monster characters right. Love the dynamics. I loved how the movie looked. I have zero complaints. If the next Godzilla film is as good as this one, sign me up again. It'll end up on this list again. Number 3 was Ready or Not. We kind of already discussed it, but I just had the most fun with it of anything this year. And again, for popcorn horror, it doesn't get much better. Number 2 was The Lighthouse, which is, it's just a show-stopping moment for everyone involved. I love that it's a thinking man's horror film. I love that it's going to have some different interpretations. And talk about performances in the genre. We don't often have really tremendously great, honestly, decade-defining performances. And we got 2 of them in this movie. They are important performances that I think actors are going to study. And I know
what number 1 is.
I think everyone knows what number 1 is. So my number 1 film of the year, and I've been screaming about this movie for a better part of 8 months now, Game Over. Game Over is simply a game changer for not just Indian cinema, or world cinema, or horror cinema. In many ways, it's next level for film. Taking an existing commercial genre, subgenre really, like the slasher, and imbuing it with a ton of meaning and emotion, world-class filmmaking, and completely incredible lead performance. Definitely the best lead performance I saw this year from Taapsee Pannu. Who, incidentally, last night the Vikatan Awards aired, which is the Tamil Language Academy Awards, basically, viewed by almost 3 times as many people as the Academy Awards get. So it has huge exposure. These are real awards, top categories in one of the biggest film markets in the world. And Game Over scored 2 really big, impressive wins, which was for Best Actress for Taapsee Pannu, and Richard Kevin won for Best Screenplay. He actually also edited the film, which is interesting because that's something that would never happen in America, that the writer of the film saw the film begin and end. He was the first one and the last one to touch it. So this film is a really important film that is unfortunately still kind of obscure in America. There's those of us who are screaming to high heavens that everyone needs to watch the film, but it's the foreign language issue is holding it back for some people, and just a certain amount of, just isolation in their entertainment is also holding it back. But it is by far the best film of the year, and honestly, I hate to say that I don't think we're going to get anything of the same quality this year, but God, I hope we do, because it means we're going into a golden age if we do.
Anybody else seen Game Over?
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, the man ain't bullshitting you.
I have to rewatch it, but I really did like it.
Stingray, have you seen it?
Not yet. Lauren has sent me a copy, and I am going to watch it.
Okay. Yeah, I've got a copy I want to rewatch. I liked it. It definitely took some turns that I wasn't expecting. I think I was expecting more of a traditional slasher movie, and that's kind of the way it starts, and that's kind of the way it ends. But in the middle, it goes in a very different route. And it's. I think I mentioned this to Lauren when I met him a few months back, that it was one of the rare instances where I felt like I was watching a movie from a filmmaker that I couldn't trust, that I wasn't like familiar with. There seems to be like a, I don't know, a familiarity with a lot of horror movies, American horror movies. Like I kind of know where they're going to go, and I kind of know what's going to happen, and I didn't get that sense with Game Over.
And I think one of the things that feeds into what you're saying is that after a kind of a really, really effective opening murder sequence, the movie changes tack so completely, but what you don't realize is it's spending 40 minutes really building up a lot of emotional value for the climax, for the final act. And it just really shows what we're missing out when you watch something like Countdown, which came out this year, which I liked as a movie. It's a good time waster. No one's going to say it's a favorite film, but it's a good time waster.
It's not bad.
But it didn't develop any characters any deep way. And the other thing I'd say is, like, there's another movie that came out this year that got a lot of press about being a strong feminist message movie that was also in the slasher genre, and which was also about sexual assault. One of the movies managed to hold its own without making a point of what its subtext was, and one had to scream it from the high heavens at every press interview. Mm-hmm. And I think there's something to be learned about getting the quote-unquote important messages of your movies out in your movie, and not in dialogue screamed in your movie. Just, if you can actually tell a good film, that's where the future lies. Mm-hmm. I really am passionate about the movie, as everyone knows, but I really walked in not expecting to come out with a film that is on my top 10 of all time list, which it is. To underscore that, I had to revise my list when it entered, and it actually leapfrogged over a film called Alien.
But still just below Aliens, right?
Oh, God.
There's nothing
I knew that was
right below Aliens. Oh, that's not true. There is that German scat video that's below Aliens, only because the camera work's not good.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Where can people see Game Over?
Well, Netflix has pretty much the exclusive for all the Relativity titles from India, so they can get it there. There are 3 versions on the service, because it's available in 3 different languages, Telugu, Tamil, and Hindi. I'd recommend going with the Tamil version because that's the original native language of the cast. The cast did also speak a native, not native, they did also speak a Hindi language track, which is not a dub. They actually shot the films the second way, but it's not their native language, so their delivery is not quite as good, except for Tapsi Pannu, who actually nails it in both versions. But I'd say go with the Tamil version.
Okay. And the Sikhin movies, or the Sikchin movies, a lot of those are available on YouTube if you look them up. Just SICCAN. And I think the sixth one is
not there yet.
Okay.
You can find it if you look enough around, but it is. A note about a lot of these, because on my list there, Ulather Kalam, The Pool, Section 6, Game Over. These are all not American films, and none of them got a commercial physical release this year. Most of the world has moved on from physical release. America is probably going to be the last duck standing with physical releases. So you do have to kind of search for these movies. And it's part of what scares me about the future is there going to come a point where Netflix decides that Game Over just isn't renting enough or getting enough hits to stay on their service? If so, because there aren't physical discs out there, does it just disappear unless we go over to India and watch it from a streaming service there? How does that work?
That's $1 million question.
That's you make some Indian friends and you have them make you some bootlegs and send them.
Yeah, I might have already done that.
Okay, well, hey, you've already got a source then. You're ahead of the curb. Let's talk about my top 5 favorite movies of 2019.
Black Christmas?
Number It's. Hold on, give me a minute.
Okay,
I'm starting with number 5 and then moving down to number 1. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So number 5 is Ready or Not, which we mentioned numerous times on this show. If you've not seen Ready or Not, I think we all who've seen it highly recommend it. Number 4 on my list is Tigers Are Not Afraid, which is available right now on Shudder. It's a Spanish film. It's subtitled.
I'm out.
But it's about
Is that a knock?
it's about a group of kids in Mexico who are all orphaned because the Mexican cartels have either murdered their parents or kidnapped their parents and then murdered them or forced them into sexual slavery. And basically they're just living and surviving on the streets, trying to avoid the cartels themselves because the cartels will kidnap children and do bad things to them also. And they kind of... It kind of goes into that kind of Pan's Labyrinth territory where these kids are sort of living in their own heads, and to survive the mean streets, they kind of have created this own fantasy. But it's really good movie, great performances from all the young cast. It's a harrowing film. It's difficult to watch at times, but very, very, very good movie, and it is available on Shudder right now. If you have Shudder, check out Tigers Are Not Afraid. Great movie. Number 3 on my list is Dr. Sleep. I loved the first 2/3 of Dr. Sleep a lot. I thought it was... I have to admit, I was very skeptical about a Shining sequel of any kind. And the first 2 acts of that movie I thought were just damn near perfect. The third act, which takes place in the Overlook Hotel, gets a little cosplay for my taste. It kind of lost steam a little bit there. But still, overall, I really, really liked Dr. Sleep. I think it was one of the better horror movies of the year. Number 2 on my list is Parasite. We mentioned Parasite earlier, or Lauren mentioned Parasite earlier. I loved it. I thought it was brilliant. I really can't say enough good things about it. It's sort of got every genre in it. It would sort of be labeled as a thriller horror movie, but it's also very funny, very satirical. Just a great freaking movie. It won Best Foreign Language Film at the at the Golden Globes recently, and just a great movie. It is subtitled though, so you will have to read it. I'm sure you guys have heard a lot of the director of Parasite, Bong Joon. I forget his full name. He mentioned at the Golden Globes when he was receiving his award. You mentioned the barrier. There's a barrier between people. People don't want to watch a subtitled film. And basically he said, look, it's like 2 inches of on your screen. That's it. You know what I mean? It's not that much. And there was
his quote was awesome. It's like it'll open up your world.
Yeah,
your world.
Exactly. Yeah. And he took some flack for that, for saying that. But just great movie. Do not let the fact that it is subtitled deter you from seeing it. Fantastic film. And number 1 on my list is Joker. It's the movie that we weren't supposed to watch. The movie that they tried to scare us away from watching. But we watched, and we watched a lot. Just a phenomenal performance from Joaquin Phoenix. He won the Golden Globe the other night. Just loved everything about that film. Really blew me away on multiple levels. Thought it was a exceptionally well-made film combined with that performance, and I was just blown away. Absolutely blown away.
Oh, amen. Yeah, just watch it before I came on here. Man, what a great movie. What a great movie.
I still have to see it.
And I don't watch superhero movies. I guess you wouldn't call that a superhero movie. It is a DC movie. But man, the trailer sucked me in, Piz, because once the guy comes in with the wings on his head, I'm like, oh, okay, Here we go. That's just not my thing. I'm not knocking it, but that movie was just like a biopic about a guy just being treated like crap with mental illness, and then he goes off the deep end. And what was the talk show supposed to be like the Ed Sullivan show? They just couldn't call it that.
Something, yeah, more or less. I mean, something.
Tonight Show.
Something to that effect. Yeah, the Tonight Show.
Well, the curtains definitely. I thought the curtains had that vibe from one of those talk shows I remember with the colors. I'm like, it looks familiar.
Like Johnny Carson or Ed Sullivan.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of, I think, what they were shooting for. But yeah, and really, I mean, you know, this movie has far more in common with Taxi Driver than it does any Batman movie. So
that's probably why I like it. That's a good way to put it for me. That's probably why I liked it.
Yeah. But yeah, I just mesmerized by Joaquin Phoenix's performance in that film. And yeah, my favorite movie of 2019, without a doubt. Anybody have anything to add on any of my films? No? Okay.
Where's the real list? The Blum list.
I will mention three kind of honorable mentions that were on my list. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I really, really liked this movie. I knew the movie had a lot of hype around it before it got released because of, you know, of course, a lot of people grew up with those books and they loved those books. And then it just kind of seemed like that movie disappeared. So I'm not sure what happened, if it didn't get good reviews or if it just died at the box office. I'm not sure. But I streamed it just a couple of weeks ago, and I really, really liked it. I thought it was really well done.
Yeah, I fell asleep halfway through. But from what I liked, it was good. I mean, from what I saw, it was good.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a movie that got crap for like the PG-13? Like it was PG-13. I'm thinking to myself, well, you read the books as a kid. Like, why would it be rated R to begin with? You know, it shouldn't be PG, but it's like, oh, we read the books as a kid, so PG-13 makes sense.
Well, and they really pushed that PG-13 rating, I thought, because
Probably an F word in there.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's some language, but anytime you're putting a child in harm's way, or you're showing sequences that involve a child dying, you know, that usually really hits, you know, the censors slap that with an R pretty quickly. They didn't. So, I mean, they definitely pushed the PG-13 rating.
Yeah.
In Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Yeah. I did like that movie, too. I did.
Yeah. Another one that I really liked was called The Headhunter. It's also on Shudder. Very simple movie about he's like this warrior who lives outside of this kingdom, and his whole job is to kill the monsters that live in the forest outside of the kingdom. And again, very simple, basically a one-man show. Very simple, very effective, very well done. I liked it a lot. And Haunt. I loved Haunt. I thought Haunt was really good. It derails a little bit in the last act, but up to that point, I was loving it. And even with it going off the rails toward the end, I still really enjoyed Haunt.
I was really blown away by that one.
Eli Roth will be happy to hear you say that.
Was he involved in Haunt?
He produced it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Eli, there's some love for you.
Yeah, I didn't love it. I liked it. I liked it, but I didn't like the characters, and I didn't feel that the haunted house felt real at any point, like a place I could actually go. And that held it back for me. And besides the ending being ending's bad, but it's a solid slasher, and we did worse this year by most of the slashers that came out.
Yeah.
It's weird that movie didn't get a Blu-ray, Piz. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm ready to get Haunt, and I had to go to pre-order it. My buddy's like, oh, the link is up. I said, what is this DVD crap? They didn't even get a Blu-ray for Haunt? I mean, Jesus, man, what is this?
I didn't know that.
Get ready for a whole lot more of that.
Only a DVD, you know? That movie Trick got a Blu-ray. I got that. You know, you reviewed Trick, Piz. You're like, this movie's kind of not really great. I was like, I'm getting it. Like, I'm kidding.
Well, I think Haunt is on Shudder too. That might have been a Shudder exclusive movie too.
It is. It's on Shudder.
Okay.
You know.
Get ready for that, though, guys. You're going to see a lot more things not get Blu-ray releases, only come out on DVD.
Who the hell's still buying DVDs?
DVD outsells Blu-ray by almost 2 to 1.
Why?
It doesn't matter why. That's what the reality is.
But I mean, I'd like to know why, because it's fucking stupid.
I got some towns around me, Jay, that are still so like countrified, I guess, that like they only have DVD sections still. There'll barely be any
Amazon
Blu-rays.
will be beating out Walmart on sales of films.
But what's funny is if you look at DVD versus Blu-ray prices of the same movie, the DVD will be more.
Yeah.
Which blows me away too.
Fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Because except for hardcore movie fans, people are not buying movies. So if they haven't bought a Blu-ray player by now, they are not buying a Blu-ray player.
They could probably find one of the fucking garbage, man. They're everywhere.
They're not going to.
We got taken. There's theft, so much theft today too. Like movies are kind of like the new MP3s as well, so you got to take that into consideration. People just steal crap. I mean, they got people watching It Chapter 2 at home when it was still in the theaters. I'm like, how are you guys doing this? And I know where to find it. I'm like, come on, man, this is crap, man.
CNBC's website has an article up that you can search for and find that went back 13 years from sales at the absolute height of DVD to now. And 83% of the market has disappeared. That's what streaming has done. Reality is, except for those hardcore collectors and hardcore movie fans, if they haven't bought a machine, if they haven't upgraded to Blu-ray, they're not going to. Blu-ray will disappear over the next 3 years. It's just going to happen.
I've had a Blu-ray player for like 14 years or something like that.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
Well, and the movie theater experience is going to go the exact same way. Because the movie studios are going to realize that they can cut the movie theaters out. Movie theaters are the middlemen. People have home theaters at home. People are streaming in 4K. Why even go through theaters when you can charge somebody $25 to stream a movie opening night? And that completely cuts theaters out. So you don't have to get a babysitter. You don't have to spend money on, a small drink and a small bag of popcorn that's $30. You don't have to deal with, Joe Bob the slack-jawed yokel sitting behind you, digging in his belly button and talking to his buddy the whole time. You know what I mean? The theater experience is next. The theater, honestly, I could see the theater experience dying before before physical media dying.
But that's what I love. I love the theater experience. Like I want to keep that alive.
So do I. I think what's going to keep theaters alive is that there's still those huge, 4-quadrant tentpole films that'll come out every year that make a ton of money.
Right.
that are helping the theaters to survive. That's not going to help the home video because everything's the same, has the same value, and as more people move over to being purely streaming. And some people don't even care. If they'll just watch whatever is on a streaming service that they're paying a monthly subscription fee. Yeah. They'll never buy a movie digitally. They'll just whatever's there because there's always enough there for them. We're going back to the days of three networks, basically. Whatever's on.
Yeah.
For a lot of people. And it's a business model. You have to remember that there is a profit margin and there is a cost. If your profit margin does not absorb the cost, you don't stay in that business. 83% over the last 13 years. So how long does that leave us before it hits that insolvency? I might be being aggressive by saying 3 years. You may remember when you walk into a Best Buy and you'd see 6 or 7 aisles of home video titles. You guys been in recently? It's one aisle.
Any, do they?
Well, it's one aisle. It's the new releases. That's it.
It's all DVDs too.
Yeah. And that's where it's going. 4K was supposed to save the day, but the problem is if you didn't upgrade from DVD to Blu-ray, you weren't going to make the next step. So it's where we are.
But I mean, like, I'm not still watching shit on VHS, like new stuff. I mean, I just don't get it. I don't get why is this so different than any other format.
Well, millennials don't want to store anything.
No.
So they're against buying any physical property that they can buy digitally. So they're not going to change over. People our age are frankly losing our patience with the cost of things too. You know, pricing needs to be relative to the entertainment. If you're going to watch a movie once a year, you don't want to pay $25 for it. Period.
But I mean, I'll be honest. I'm not going to pay $25-$30 just to stream something on opening night. I'm not going to pay that much. It's too much.
I agree. I won't either.
I mean, I may pay that to own it.
Well, let me ask you this: would you pay $25 opening night to own a copy of a new Friday the 13th film?
In that case, yeah. I mean, of course.
And so everyone has their Friday the 13th film, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So the industry probably has a way forward, and they can reduce that price. It's nominal. They can set a price wherever they want. They have more control without theaters and with distributors and without retailers involved. What I've been saying to everyone is, if you love this stuff, go out and buy it, support it, keep it solvent for as long as we can. Maybe we'll get lucky and there'll be something like the vinyl renaissance for home video, but I honestly, I think that's a hope and a dream. It's not necessarily a plan.
Yeah. Another thing I noticed is these movies too, and I don't know how much of a kick in the ass this is as well, but you know, it's like Dr. Sleep, own it on Blu-ray, January 24th. Own it now, digital. You know, it's always a 2-week early digital thing. Why don't you swap that crap? Swap it. Make the movies come out first. You know,
because they don't want it to survive, Christian.
Yeah. I mean, that's the irony, Lauren. That's the irony, Lauren, is I go to a dying Blu-ray section at my Walmart, and then I got like 2 rows of vinyls. Like, that's so. Like, what kind of world is this?
What the fuck is going on, man?
You know, I keep reading articles saying, "Oh, vinyls are outselling CDs." I'm thinking, who's still buying CDs?
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. Nobody's buying CDs.
You know, the only CDs I get with them Blue Undergrounds I get now that come with the sound, which is badass. You know, but
in 30 years there'll be a Blu-ray renaissance.
Right. I don't know, man. You know, that what also worries me, and my buddy Drew, you know, he's always like, dude, why is Ready or Not getting a 4K? Like, that's another thing that worries me. It's like, not every title is getting a 4K. And, you know, I just bought a player, so I'm like, at first I'm like, is this worth it? You know, I do think it was worth it, because when I watched Casino, Jesus, it looked beautiful. You know, it looked like I was there. But it does worry me that not every movie is getting a 4K release. Some people just are not putting the money in it, because I'm assuming it costs more to make discs and all that crap. So I don't know.
So remember in the late 90s when you connected to the internet and you downloaded a JPEG that took 5 minutes to come down? And Christian, I know what kind of JPEG you were downloading, but that's a different story.
Well, I was a puppy in the 90s.
Come on.
So now you can download a movie in far less than the time it takes to watch the movie.
Right.
So the reality is, as this technology gets better, there's going to come a point where you're going to get a true 4K stream, which you're not getting currently, by the way. Just because a movie source is 4K doesn't mean that's what's actually coming into your house. It probably is to the point where you can't really tell much of the difference. But we're going to get to the point where there's going to be instant access to 4K transfers digitally, and yet another reason to buy the physical media will disappear. It seems inescapable to me at this point. And
100%
and
agree.
by the way, the best test for this is other countries. As I've mentioned, like India has abandoned physical media 99%. Japan is quickly abandoning. China has abandoned. It's really a situation whereas physical media is going to become extinct for an entire generation. All I can say is fight the good fight. Buy what you want. And this is a pretty good segue into the next part of our list, I think.
Yeah. Well, let me mention.
I'm depressed, guys. I'll see you later.
Oh, by the way, there's a meteor coming on its way to Earth by the end of the show.
Because I can see it in 10 years. All right, guys. 2030's top 5 digital codes. Take it away,
Yeah,
Lauren. You know.
Well, let me mention some of our viewers. They've mentioned some of their favorite movies of 2019 in the chat. Joe Bob Tarhill says Rocket Man is number 1 for him. Borderline 11 says Dragged Across Concrete was his number 1 movie of 2019. Barbecue Network says Irishman and Marriage Story were his 2 favorites of last year. Movie Man 95 says he loved The Lighthouse and Midsummer. Steak Sauce, with a shocking revelation, claiming that Captain Marvel is the greatest movie ever made. That one blew me away, but different strokes for different folks. Movie Man 95 says Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark was one of his favorite movies of last year. Adam, the motion picture history horror fan, breaks his favorite films of 2019 down as follows. Number 5 is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Number 4 is The Lighthouse. Number 3 is Joker. Number 2, The Irishman. And number 1, 1917. So there you go. But so let's set. What was that, Stone?
Oh, Best Director and Best Picture 1917. Just one. I really want to see it.
Yeah. I kind of want to see that too.
Comes out tonight, guys.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about some of our favorite Blu-ray releases of last year, and mine just went flying.
Now they'll be out of order. We'll never know.
No. A lot of Arrow and Scream Factory titles here. So, I will start with the Arrow RoboCop release, the limited edition release, the big thick one that came with the book. And this thing is just loaded.
I want that. I want that so badly.
2 different cuts of the movie, tons and tons of extras. This is like the RoboCop fans' wet dream release right here. Great release. Next up, the American Werewolf in London Arrow release. This is also the big limited edition one. Check out all those extras there. It's just sort of it's a collection of all the old extras from the previous releases. You've got new extras on here. Just a smorgasbord of American Werewolf in London. Love. One of my favorite movies from the 80s. Love this movie so much. Was so happy to see that it finally got a Blu-ray release last year. The Blob. Love this freaking movie so much. Great release here. Lots of nice extras on here. Great stuff. Justin Beam produced all the extras. Friend of the show. Great stuff. The Urban Legend Scream Factory release. Whether or not you're a fan of this movie or not, this was a great release for the film. Friend of the show, Peter Bracke, produced all the extras on this release, and they are just phenomenal. Next up, Cruising, the Arrow release. Great release for William Friedkin's Cruising. Great stuff on that release. And a slasher movie that I've championed for years. Alice, Sweet Alice, the Arrow release. Great release for Alice, Sweet Alice. Just lots of extras. Picture quality, sound quality are fantastic. Great stuff on this release. So, those are my favorite Blu-ray releases of last year. Alrighty. Let's see. Christian, you got any favorite Blu-ray releases of last year?
I'm lazy. I apologize. I just wrote them down, so I didn't pull them out. So I apologize about that. I got a couple. I'll just run through them. The Alien 4K Steelbook. I finally got to watch the 4K. Yeah, I bought it just because I love the movie, but that was gorgeous. I love it. Alien, singular, Lauren, not aliens. The Blob, Scream Factory, I love that one too. One of my favorites was the Omen box set, and I never watched the Omens. To me, the first 2 are platinum records, and then like the third one was kind of like a gold record. I didn't love them that much after that, but the first 2 were, man, they kicked me in the ass. I love those first 2 Omen movies, and I think the first one was a 4K transfer. It's a Blu-ray, but it was a restoration, and it was gorgeous. Alice, Sweet Alice, like you said. Piz, I'm really upset you didn't mention The Shining 4K, because that is probably one of the most beautiful films I've ever seen. I know you love it, though. Night of the Creeps, I can't believe you didn't mention that. You're really breaking my heart, Piz.
That was a good one.
Piz, real quick, I want to tell you, Piz, that's a movie that, it was a really limited movie back then. Nobody saw it and stuff. I really can't understand it. As charming and as fun as that movie is, why it wasn't a hit. You know, promotion for the movie or not, how was that movie not a hit back then? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? It was that good.
Yeah, I agree.
Two Evil Eyes was a great. I love the movie. I love the soundtrack. I love synthesizers. So there's that one song with kids singing. It's really creepy. I actually listened to the CD. Casino was a gorgeous 4K. I love watching that. I love Joe Pesci. American Werewolf in London, The Arrow you got, and the RoboCop was my favorite for the year because it's one of my favorite movies ever. So you can't go wrong with Dan O'Hurley in a movie. Period. So him as the old man is
it's true.
Like shooting son. What's your name? I just love the way he goes, Dick, you're fired. It's ridiculous. That's such piss. That movie. There's really nothing like it. Am I right? Like RoboCop is an American original.
Yeah. You're
it's such a good movie. And it's funny, Piss, because real quick, I got a Blu-ray trilogy set from like 2012 or 11 maybe, and I popped it in, and what do you call it where they take the grain out and the movie just looks shiny? Because that's what that Blu-ray looks like now. The Arrow, you know what I mean? It looked like they just, boom, here's what the movie looked like, and this is the movie as best as it. I guess I just love the grain. I feel like I'm really watching an authentic reel of the movie, I guess. I don't know, but
yeah,
lovely.
It's called DNR, Christian. It's digital noise removal, and it was a plague for a while.
Right. DNR. Well, I loved watching RoboCop on Arrow. When that movie got announced, I was jumping for joy because I love RoboCop. It's probably my second favorite movie in the world besides Return of the Living Dead. So I'll be buried. I'll be buried with a RoboCop Blu-ray with me.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's my list.
Yeah, very, very, very nice list. Absolutely. Stingray, Stone, you guys got any Stingray? Nothing. Okay.
Nothing.
What about you, Stone?
Okay. I got some here. There was 2 Criterion releases that I wanted to get this year. I only got one. The one I didn't get was a classic silent horror film from 1922 called Haxan, Witchcraft Through the Ages. I meant to get that. I haven't yet. But I did get my favorite silent movie of all time, which I highly recommend to all of you. It is called The Kid Brother with Harold Lloyd. It's a classic silent comedy. This is just my favorite silent film of all time, and it's got a new 4K digital restoration, audio commentaries, and just all the bonus features that you could ever want from Criterion. I mean, they're still the best around as far as I'm concerned. Now, I know that Lorne bailed out of this movie after 5 minutes, and I mean, the thing is, okay, I Spit on Your Grave is not for everyone. I understand that. I actually really liked the sequel, which they made 40 years after the fact, called Deja Vu. But regardless of how you feel, I Spit on Your Grave, the one that you all need to watch, regardless of how you feel about it, is this right here. Now, this is a documentary made by the director's son, growing up with I Spit on Your Grave, where he talks about the film's impact over the past 40 years, the controversial history, the Siskel and Ebert, how they destroyed it, and how it got reappraised. And it is official. After this came out, it was confirmed that is Demi Moore on the cover.
What?
The woman that's been on this poster for 40 years is in fact Demi Moore.
Wow.
That is a revelation. And there's a woman that was interviewed on the documentary that said, no, I've been with her at the gym. I'm telling you, that is her butt, okay?
I'll know that donk anywhere.
Oh, yeah. Now, this next... Okay. This is a guilty pleasure, okay? Now, Caitlyn Jenner, back when he was known as Bruce Jenner, he made this movie.
Oh, my God.
Look, this movie is bad. It's horrible. It won the very first Razzie Award for Worst Picture and Worst Director. But I think it's a hilarious trip. It's the Village People movie where the owner bailed out after realizing this was a shit show. And it's got a brand new audio commentary with fabulous Alan Carr, producer-director Jeffrey Schwartz, and comedy writer Bruce Valanche. And it's got a brand new interview with the Village People's Randy Jones. And he is very open, very forthright about the movie. And I am a guilty pleasure fan of this. It's a piece of crap in some ways, but I actually enjoy it. I got 3 more here.
Okay.
We finally got a proper release of this because Sony gave it off to another company and they got rid of some of the bonus features, but they finally put out an official Blu-ray version of The People vs. Larry Flint, my favorite political movie of all time, Woody Harrelson as the publisher. It's also got Courtney Love and Edward Norton, and it has all the bonus features from the old Sony DVD. And now, of course, this is my favorite Blu-ray of the whole year. Lauren got a copy. His got a copy.
Yes.
And this look, this is one of my absolute favorites of all time, and I adore it. I'm not going to reveal anything about it yet because I know Piz hasn't watched any inch of it yet. But look, it has a commentary with stars Tawny Katian and Brent Huff. And the only thing I will reveal is that she does say on the commentary, because she worked with Tom Hanks on Bachelor Party, Tom Hanks is no Brent Huff. That's the only thing I'm revealing right now. Tom Hanks is no Brent Huff. Now, last but not least, I got one more here. Now, okay. Now, as all of you know, you all know me as Stone Gasman. Obviously, that's not my real name. I will not reveal what my real name is. But if you want to know what my real name is, I'm actually very proud to be quoted on the back of this 2019 release. And I didn't even know this until a year ago. And on the original Blu-ray, I was quoted, but I'm glad that they retained my original quote for 1984's Savage Streets, my favorite Linda Blair movie, my favorite, I love Friday the 13th New Beginning. I think this is Danny Steinman's masterpiece. It's got an awesome soundtrack. And like I said, if you want to know my real name, I am quoted on the back of Savage Streets, and I'm very proud of that.
Stone,
eat that shit, Lauren.
Awesome.
Eat that shit. Eat it.
Stone, why the fuck did you go there? Why did you do
where?
that?
Is that
Go where?
I thought maybe we could get through an entire show without having to hear Piz talk about Steinman.
is that a Blu-ray?
Jesus. Oh, my God.
Hey, come on, man. Danny Steinman's the man.
And now I know your real name, Stone.
Who put that out? I'm gonna buy it.
This is the Code Red Blu-ray.
That's the Code Red. Yeah, Code Red.
That's awesome,
Blu-ray.
Stone, man.
Hey,
And
Stone,
they
can we
put
talk about...
all. And one more thing, they did retain all the bonus features on the initial Blu-ray. They did not have any of the bonus features. They finally brought them all back. The 3 audio commentaries, the vintage interviews with Linda Blair and Linnea Quigley, all those interviews, reversible artwork. I adore this film with a passion, obviously. So there you go.
As do I.
Yes.
Stone, does the real movie you talked about before, does Haxon have both the option to watch it with the Burroughs voiceover and in its original version?
Yes, I believe so.
Then I might need that. I actually
Yes.
really dislike Burroughs' narration.
Oh.
I think it takes away from the film. It makes it into this hippie experience, and the film's completely different without it.
Yeah.
Very nice list, Stone. Very nice.
For the
list.
record, I do like Savage Streets. It's not my favorite Linda Blair
You're
film.
human.
That would clearly be Hell Night, but
Oh, I understand that, but that soundtrack, man.
Oh,
John
man.
Farnham, and it's like, it's one of the
It's a
great
rocking
soundtracks.
soundtrack, man.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I gotta
It's
watch
awesome.
that.
Great freaking
but it
movie.
led to such horrors that we cannot forgive.
Great freaking
Kind of like
movie.
This is
it's the
Lynette
Weimar
Quigley.
Germany of movies.
Yeah, when y'all said Linnea Quigley, I was like, all right.
This is pre-breast implants, Christian. Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Well, I like them natural too, you know.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, compared to what she was
Now-
rocking.
Let me, Jay. You know
Now
what,
it
Jay?
sounds like a Friday 5 discussion.
Jay, I tell you what though, Jay, I got a buddy that told me we were checking out this woman one time, and he was like, "Oh man, those boobs are totally fake." And I said to him, Jay, I said, "They're not fake. You can touch them."
Hey,
You know, it's amazing when she did the movie, she was 25, but I swear, she looked a decade younger.
She looked very young.
She,
Yes.
she looked really young in that movie.
15.
Yeah.
She looked 15.
She looked very. Yeah, she looks really young. Really
Super
young.
And
young,
demonetized.
But
Jay, if I put it on, is Chris Hansen gonna walk in the room? Why don't you have a seat right there for me, sir?
maybe.
What was your plan? What was your plan here today, Piz? I was just coming to hang out. Well,
Let's
the
got some
chat
hard
says
lemonade
otherwise.
and a pizza. Come on.
Oh my god.
What are these condoms for, sir?
But a great list, Stone. Great list. Let's see, Stone or Lauren. You got any favorite Blu-ray releases of 2019?
You know, it's funny. I actually initially thought that I didn't buy enough this year to put together a proper list, but I was surprised that when I actually went back and looked, I really did. So the first thing is, I got to say, Stone, you need to buy this immediately because this is going to be right down your aisle. Which is this year we finally got a Blu-ray release of the great Iron Warrior, which is the third ATOR movie. If you don't know the
Iron
ATOR
Warrior.
series,
Okay.
yeah. If you don't know the ATOR series, they're very 80s new wave sword and sandal, sword and sorcery type movies. But the third film is completely ridiculous because it looks like a Duran Duran video for the entire runtime. And it's as sleazy as things get. So it's not a good film in any sort of way. But considering something else that is here that you appreciate, I think this would be absolutely something you need to experience.
I wrote it down. You
should. The whole series is good, but this is the one you're gonna love. So this year we also did get a Blu-ray release of Seeding of a Ghost, the great Shaw Brothers chunk blower gore film. If you haven't seen this, this is Chinese 70s exploitation cinema. Actually, I think it's 80s, but it's early 80s. It looks like 70s exploitation cinema at its best. It has an ending that you need to see to believe. It's a ghost movie, but it plays more like maybe The Thing without money. It's awesome. And lots of sleeves, it's wonderful. This release looks ridiculously good for the vintage and where in the world this movie came from. The same cannot be said of the next movie, which is that when Agfa Releasing decided to put their money where their mouth is and release Who Killed Captain Alex on Blu-ray.
Oh.
If you do not know what this movie is, you need to go there immediately. You can find it online, but this is, if you want it looking exactly as the same as it looks on YouTube, you can buy an expensive Blu-ray of it. This is the first action film from Uganda.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a film that if you can get this film without smiling or laughing, there is something deeply wrong and you need to be fingerprinted and processed through the system. This is an amazing, amazing
I
film.
actually saw that, man.
Amazing.
Is that the one that all the memes are from? Like, where they're like a
Yes.
helicopter that's all like.
Dude, it's hilarious.
It's
Helicopter.
It is
nothing.
freaking hilarious.
hilarious.
Let me just say this about the movie. Rather than subtitle the movie in English, they hired a local VJ to simply do color commentary over the entire running time.
Video Joker, yeah.
But they did not give him a script. He did it live off the top of his head. He's basically like, imagine Flava Flav giving play-by-play to a really cheap version of Commando, and that's this movie.
Flava Flav.
And you bought an expensive Blu-ray of it.
I did.
They probably
And
made that for like $3 American.
I did not Oh, not that much. I do not regret it in the least. This next one's not going to surprise. Well, the title will be unfamiliar, but it shouldn't surprise you. One of my favorite older Indian horror movies, 1920 Evil Returns, which is the second film in this series. If you like possession flicks, this is one of the best Exorcist ripoffs ever made. It's really, really, really good. It is. One thing I love about Indian cinema is even the worst Indian cinema looks gorgeous. It really it's as a culture, they refuse to put something out that doesn't really just blow you away with the visuals. And this movie is a lot of fun. This is an import. This is a Reliance Media import from Britain, actually, even though they're an Indian company. As everyone should know, India was a British colony for many, many, many years. So there's a big connection between the two nations. This is a great disc. And the dub, if you get this disc, is absolutely hilarious. I'm going to screw up the pronunciation of this because I always do. But this is this year's German release of Leptiricia, which this is a really obscure. It was a television production in the 70s from Western Europe. It is a vampire film, kind of, but because the local mythology is so different, it feels really alien to us. It was believed lost for many years. And this actually came out in 2018. I'm putting on my list because you couldn't get a copy of the damn thing until this year. It was limited to, I believe, 500 copies worldwide. It is a Region B Blu-ray. And it looks like they found a VHS copy of it somewhere, but we should just be happy that it survived and it's out there. You can find it on YouTube, but this is the kind of movie that I really fear that if we don't get that physical copy of, it will someday disappear and just be gone. And I don't ever want that to happen. Next, this is a film that some of you should know about, but is criminally underlooked, which is Roar. Roar was a passion project by Tippi Hedren and her husband at the time, who filmed this film on a real game preserve in Africa with lions and tigers and and absolutely no handlers. There's no special effects in this movie. This is a movie about a woman and her daughter's husband who come to visit their father, who they're estranged from, who runs this game preserve. And through a misunderstanding, they show up before he gets back, and basically the big cats just run the house. So if you want to see Tippi Hedren get her leg broken on screen by an elephant, in the movie, not fake, absolutely 100% real. If you want to see Melanie Griffith, who looks about 16 at the time, get partially scalped by a lion, in the film, and absolutely 100% real.
Good God.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Next is The Perils of Gwendolyn in the Land of the Yik Yak, which was given to me by Mr. Stone. It's a film that I had seen back in the VHS days. It's an amazing looking disc, which is so ridiculous for this movie.
Oh, yeah.
To call it a good film is probably a stretch, but what it is endlessly entertaining. And the last act of this movie does what very few great films do, which is it actually ups the ante in every single direction, and it feels like a climax of a film. Besides Ben-Hur, best chariot race of all time, and definitely something that you need. If you like exploitation cinema, you need to see it at some point. I'm almost done, I promise. So this is a very limited release for a lot of reasons, but this is the Studio Interzona release of Ivan Zakuhn's version of H.P. Lovecraft's Herbert West Reanimator. This was made full 2 years ago as a web series, and then he filmed more material to make it into one cohesive film. It's very dreamlike, very Italian, and it's, for my money, the most Lovecraftian thing ever filmed in the true sense, if you go back to the stories, which is strange because it comes from a series of stories that are not really typical of Lovecraft, because he wrote the Reanimator stories for cash in desperation because he needed to make money. He never liked them. He excluded them from his original bibliography that he wrote. But Zaccone has managed to weave these into the mythos stories and tell an interesting, very different from the source material story, but one that feels really like Lovecraft, which I think is amazing. It's also, if you've never seen anything that Ivan Zaccone has made, the man is probably the most impressive visualist working in horror today, which is a shame because no one will give him money to make a real movie. A couple years ago, he did release something called Wrath of the Crows, which I think is an amazing film too. 4K Ultra HD of release of Godzilla King of the Monsters for all the reasons I discussed in this movie before. It's a great looking disc. The sound design it really pops on this disc. And finally, last January, a little film that I have a little bit of affection for came out on 4K, which is Hellfest.
Yes.
Hellfest is the best slasher film ever made, in my opinion. I think that someday people will recognize it as such. It's just that we have so many sacred cows standing in its way. This film feels like the Halloween season to me, like for real, not just a couple of leaves on the ground in films we really love. It also captures the look and feel of haunted attractions better than anything anywhere. Before we were talking about Haunt, the attraction feels like it was made for a movie. This feels like a place where you could go. And I wanted to go. And I wanted to hang out with these characters. And I liked all these characters. And the characters had enough room to breathe and be a little bit more than the cardboard that they would have been in any other film. And while it's not a bloodbath, there's some effective kill scenes in it. I think this is a film that in 20, 25 years, people are going to look back at really with a lot of affection. And I already look at it that way. This is one of my top 10 of all time. It is higher on my list than Game Over or Alien, for that matter. Every time I watch it, I just grin ear to ear. That's my 10.
I dug it. And by the way, you got to emphasize, Perils of Gwendolyn isn't great. It's superb. It's superb.
Were there any like honorable mentions or any other favorite movies of 2019 you guys wanted to mention?
Yeah, I was surprised that no one mentioned Us.
Oh, I'm not.
Oh,
Us was very close to be an honorable mention on my list.
I kind of liked Us. I didn't like the movie he did before that much, but I liked Us. All right.
I mean, it's a very original film. I mean, you gotta give it that much.
Yeah, I was entertained by it.
Yeah.
What was
It
that
just
movie
doesn't
with
pull-
the? Go ahead.
It just doesn't pull a concept through for me. It makes up rules. It changes the rules. Some things are fuzzy about how things work. And for a high concept film, I think that's a problem. It looks beautiful, though. Great performances. All the technical aspects are really welcome to the horror genre because we don't usually see films as well made. But I just would like the story to really, really have worked. And for me, it just doesn't.
Sure. Yeah, there are quite a few plot holes, but if you can ignore those.
Yeah.
I don't want to create a controversy or an argument or anything because I know I'm probably in the minority, but I will confess that I didn't love it, but I actually liked the new Pet Sematary. I think it got a bad rap. I think it got a bad rap. And look, I understand a lot of people love the '89 film. I consider the new Pet Sematary more of a new adaptation than a remake of the 1989 film. I enjoyed it, twist and all, which I know a lot of people did not like the twist. I thought it was very well made. I actually liked it. I'm just saying.
I enjoyed the movie too. I don't remember a whole lot about it at this point, but I do remember that I did enjoy it. I just wish they hadn't spoiled the switcheroo between Gage and the daughter in the trailer. I think if they'd not done that and that happened while you watched it in the movie, I think it would have been more impactful.
And see, I didn't see the trailer. I walked into the theater cold, so it worked for me on that level. I did not even see the trailer, so I liked it. Yeah.
I mean, I like 3 from Hell too. I know I'm probably the only Rob Zombie fan in my state, much less the show. But I liked 3 from Hell. I'm a Rob Zombie fan. I kind of saw Haunt. I wish Rob Zombie could have taken a movie like Haunt and Rob Zombied it. I think I would have liked Haunt even more like that. But Three from Hell was pretty cool. I liked it.
Yeah, I like Three from Hell too. I know we're going to be in the minority. But...
Well, no, I was
cool.
surprised at how I was thoroughly entertained by Three from Hell.
Yeah.
Not watching it. Burned too many times. It's like going back to that girlfriend that keeps cheating on you. Just don't do it.
Well, I love dirty women, and Rob Zombie's movies are my dirty women.
Oh,
That belongs on the back of every Blu-ray release of his films from now until the end of physical media.
Hey man, I love junk food, and Rob Zombie serves me up a nice big heaping of fried chicken and Lay's potato chips. I'll eat it all the time. That's just me.
And go ahead.
No, go ahead, Stone.
Oh, I was just going to say, I need my Sherry Moon fix, so I definitely intend on seeing Three from Hell. But yeah, go ahead.
I wish they had done it. Maybe he had done that instead of one of those Halloween films, or maybe Lords of Salem.
Yeah.
Because he would have gotten Sid Haig and the whole thing.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
That's really my only complaint. I mean, I love Devil's Rejects. I love it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
this is really more of the same, which is what I wanted.
Yeah, Jay, it's gonna be interesting to see what he does next, man. Because I do feel that Three from Hell was done because maybe he just had trouble getting funding. Like I can see that. I can see it because he's a very polarizing guy. So maybe Three from Hell was just a way for him to get some decent funding because he crowdfunded 31.
Yeah.
So where he goes next is going to be interesting. He wanted to make this movie about a hockey team, this crazy ass hockey team from the 70s, and he talked about it on Joe Rogan, Jay, and it sounded amazing.
Yeah.
But it felt, the studios were like, no, we need to do another Halloween or whatever, and he's like, no, I don't want to. So it'll be interesting to see what he does next. But I'm pulling for him, man. I'm pulling.
I haven't given up on Zombie yet. He's disappointed me quite a few times, but I think once the guy finds his, the project for him, I think he can really make some great stuff. I just think that he's been doing stuff that he shouldn't be.
Yeah, that's fair.
I love some of his movies. I love his music too. So
I love his music. That's what he should stick with. Yeah.
Anybody else got any honorable mentions?
Sure. Crawl was an honorable mention to me. I think it's a programmer. Nothing original about it, really. But I had a lot of fun with it. Unfortunately, there was a better crocodile movie this year with a very similar concept. But other than that, I think it was a lot of fun. It's nice to see, Aja actually still getting some money to make a film.
yeah.
Because I worry about those guys that make a splash and then are let just fade away or go to video or work television. I want to see these guys succeed. I want to see them.
If you look at, Aja made a big splash, of course, with Hot Tension, but then, he did the Hills Have Eyes remake, which wasn't bad at all.
Piranha.
He did. I forgot about Piranha, but he did the Maniac remake, which was 10 times better than it had any right being.
That's true.
And then a movie like Crawl. So he's still kind of doing his own thing out there, and
but Maniac
God bless
was
him.
not. Maniac didn't get a wide theatrical release or anything, so
Right.
I was worried that he was going that direction. But I'm glad to see him still out there, even on a lesser film, which I think Crawl is a lesser film. It didn't make my list, but definitely worth watching. Zombieland Double Tap, was. I felt it was more of the first film, but if you like the first film, that's great. Does it deserve to be on my best of list? No, but it's a lot of fun if you like the first film. It didn't make any wrong moves. I wouldn't mind them making another one in another 10 years. That'd be fine. And One Cut of the Dead, which again, if you haven't seen it, it's a singular film experience. And if you love film, it is the movie of the year. But because if you like filmmaking, that is. So.
Yeah.
Anybody else any honorable mentions?
There was a film called The Prodigy, came out earlier in the year, that I actually liked a decent amount, about the evil kid movie. I don't know if any of you guys saw it or not, but
I saw it. Yeah, I saw it. I don't remember the one scene I do remember is when he's talking to the counselor, and he's like, I went and got some of your pubic hair, and I'll put it in my teeth, and I'll tell him that you had your way with me, and I was just like, whoa, I ain't messing with this kid. So.
Yeah, and the mom is Piper from Orange is the New Black.
Piz, I'll tell you what movie
right,
I kind of enjoyed. I forgot to mention this, and it's not my top whatever, but I'd be lying if I didn't say I got some enjoyment out of it. I got that 47 meter sequel. I think it's called Uncaged or something. I kind of like that, man. I thought that was pretty entertaining. So
That would be that's definitely on my least favorite of the year list.
well, nobody asked you, Lauren.
Let's do worst now. Let's do worst stuff. You want to do worst stuff?
Worst,
So how much did you like watching Ocean Silt the motion picture?
I loved it.
Wow,
Freaking amazing. Better than Jaws.
I liked the first 47 meters down. I thought that was pretty good. Not seen the sequel yet, though. Not seen the sequel.
I like the second one more, man. I thought I was, Stallone's daughter's in it, so he popped out some good looking kids.
Yeah.
Well,
And the Creep Show, it's got to at least be mentioned because that was a blast, man. That Creep Show really, it's my favorite Creep Show related thing ever.
Yeah.
I liked it more than the movies. I really did.
yeah, the Creep Show Shutter series was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Hopefully season 2 will be, up to par.
I heard Eli Roth is doing every episode.
Oh,
Oh,
Christ.
come on.
oh no.
Master of Horror, Eli Roth.
Eli
And
Roth.
I love that. I love the episode with whatever they do something with those worms, and then all the fat people get skinny.
Oh, yeah.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what is weird? The Tom Savini episode was nothing. Like I'm thinking myself, oh God, Tom Savini, there's gonna be blood and guts. This dude brings out a freaking sea creature. I'm like, what the hell? Like I liked it, but I was like, that was not what I was expecting from Tom Savini. I guess he was like, screw it, CGI everything. You know?
That was my
Really-
least favorite. That was my least favorite of the season. That
Yeah.
episode.
Me too.
There was one, I forgot the name of it. It was like this in an office building, and
Yeah,
this woman
I think-
kills the girl. I loved it.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
The head was actually awesome. I love the episode about the creature that the guy finds the claw and it grows into the creature
Oh,
and goes
yeah.
kills his estranged family.
Yeah.
Great
I
stuff,
love-
man.
That was great.
And again, if you look at unfortunately what happened with Creepshow 2 and obviously Creepshow 3, this was a reminder that it's possible. You can go to a property and show respect and make what it should be. And I like the second Creepshow, but I think it's kind of impossible not to notice the decline in quality from the first to the second. This is better. This stands right there with the first film.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Definitely agree with that.
It's Kurtzman, right?
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, people give him shit for The Walking Dead, but I mean, it's not some good stuff.
Well, Greg Nicotero
Nicotero
was
was producing all that,
Yeah,
right?
he was very involved in Creepshow.
And he was good buddies with George, right, Piz? I mean,
Yeah.
Nicotero probably learned a lot from Romero and all them guys. So.
Yeah.
And he's a good makeup guy too. I mean, he did a lot of movies we know and love, like Halloween 5, for instance. Fantastic.
That's true. That's
I mean,
true.
I was being a little silly, but
Well, he did it. He was the guy behind. He's part of the reason why the mask looks so wonky in that one, because it's partially a mold of his face and a mold of maybe the director's face. I don't remember. But that's how the Part 5 mask turned out.
I kind of
it's
like it to
behind
be
you
honest.
or
I kind of like it to be honest with you.
Uh,
It's like a pissed off Christopher Walken or something.
Well, you guys-
I don't know.
What would you guys vote as the worst horror movie of last year?
What was that?
Worst horror movie of last year. What would you vote
for me, it's 100% It Chapter 2. I was so
Really?
Whoa!
I was so
Over
so disappointed by that movie. Just so
lower than Haunting of Sharon Tate?
I low key like that movie a little bit.
Yes. Worse. Yeah, to me, worse than
Okay.
The Haunting of Sharon Tate.
Okay.
The Haunting of Sharon Tate was only an hour and a half to have to endure.
Oh, okay.
It
that's
Chapter
a
2
good-
was like 2.5
that's a good-
hours, and I went into that
2.5
one
hours.
with very high hopes, and I don't know how the first Chapter 1 was so good, and then to go to Chapter 2 and just like it's like it was made by completely different people, but it wasn't. It was made by the same people, but it just feels like it was made by completely different people.
I think It Chapter 2 is the biggest disappointment of the year because again, I didn't like the novel, I didn't like the original miniseries, and then the first part of the new films came out, and I found myself liking it, against all odds. I don't like the source material, and I like this movie. So for the second film to be worse than any previous iteration, I just don't even know. I don't know how that happens. I don't know how that movie ends up where it ended up.
Yeah. The only thing that makes sense to me is that Machete had Cary Fukunaga's screenplay to go off, because Cary Fukunaga had worked on that movie for like 4 years, had done numerous drafts, and I gotta think that Machete had the Fukunaga draft, the final Fukunaga draft, and he just kind of added his own little things here and there to it, and then with chapter 2, he it was all on him to, do the adaptation. Him and Gary, whatever the guy's name was, who I don't know, I forget his name, but so yeah, that's the only thing that makes sense to me.
Here's the cliff notes of It Chapter 2. Bullying is really, really bad, except when it's really, really good.
Yeah, exactly. Bullying is bad unless you're bullying a baby demon clown. Then bully all day.
Yeah, go for it.
Exactly. Bully.
And sometimes suicide is really noble.
And sometimes suicide is okay. That was what I got out of It Chapter 2. Bullying is okay if you're bullying the right person, and suicide can have a bright side to it, which is just ridiculous.
If this is the worst of the year, that was a great year.
Oh,
No. I can't say.
Did you happen to see The Dead Don't Die?
no.
Yeah, Borderline 11 got there already on you,
Okay.
Jay. Yeah, Dead Don't Die is my choice for the worst of the year, by far. That's an atrocious film.
I avoided that one because you guys seem to really hate that one.
Did you happen to see the Rabid remake?
No.
Okay, we'll watch that and then we'll talk about the Chapter 2.
I don't know.
That's why I said
if
Chapter
it's
2
only
is the most
90 minutes.
disappointing.
Dude, I would put that damn Child's Play remake worse than It Chapter 2 or Doom Annihilation or some shit, like.
Was that really
Doom
that bad,
rules,
the Child's
man.
Play remake?
What's that?
Was that the Child's Play remake? Was that really that bad?
No.
No, it
It's
wasn't
fucking
bad.
terrible.
You know what's interesting though? I was gonna say this earlier, but I didn't. I still like the Child's Play remake a lot. I would say, but when I got it, I didn't like it as much as the theater. It's like the doll almost looked. They managed to make a prosthetic doll look like CGI.
Yeah.
And it's just jarring to me. I still love. Who's the woman? The mom? Oh my god, I'd marry her. I'd climb 1,000 mountains to
I forget her name.
to love that woman. Aubrey Plaza, whatever. But it didn't grow on me. It didn't grow on me. I'd still say the first Child's Play is the end all be all for me.
That's shocking that y'all like that fucking movie as much as you do.
I
What,
like
the original Child's Play?
no, the remake. I liked it, but I don't remember anything about it now, and it's not a movie that I really want to revisit.
That's the
It
best
made
way.
me mad. It was so bad it made me physically angry.
Well, let me ask you guys: have any of you guys seen Trick? Because
No,
now,
I
that one
haven't.
would be very close on my list to It Chapter 2 levels of bad.
God, Piz, you're killing me.
But Piz, you
I gotta
haven't
watch
seen
Trick
the Black.
now.
You haven't seen the Black Christmas remake yet,
That's
right?
true. I've not seen that one. No, I've not seen
Remake.
Yeah.
What? They made another remake of Black Christmas? When did this happen?
It flew under the radar.
Oh, dude, it's great. They chop off dicks the whole time.
Was the Suspiria remake
No, they
this
chop
year or
off
last
statue
year?
heads.
That was
Well,
last
that was
year.
2018.
Yeah,
That was
Okay,
2018.
okay. I was gonna say me and my wife fell in love with it, but that's last year. So, but I love that Suspiria remake a lot.
Yeah,
All
Still
I'm
find
saying
it hard
is,
to get.
that was my favorite of 18.
Yeah, man, it was gorgeous to me. Love that movie.
Now that's one I can definitely see myself rewatching because there's so much to that movie.
Oh my god.
So I mean, I could definitely
Yeah.
see myself, and I've actually thought about that movie quite a bit since, I watched it. So I mean, it's stuck with me. It's one I could watch again. for
Right,
sure.
right. It gets wild at the end, man. I was like, damn, what's going on?
Oh, did you guys hear that Dario Argento will be making a new movie this year with Asia Argento
Oh wow.
in the lead?
oh,
Yes.
No.
Will it have more than my milk money from when I was 7 as a production budget?
I think the production budget they said is going to be about $5 Italian, whatever that is.
Down the euro.
€5.
I don't know, guys. I hate to say this, but I don't want it. I don't want John Carpenter back. I don't want any of these legacy directors still working. If they can't, I mean, the track record is undeniable at this point. The best work is so far in the past. Why set ourselves up for disappointment again?
Yeah.
Did you see Dracula? I mean, I don't.
No, I've been told by like 5 people do not watch it.
I mean, besides the praying mantis scene, there's nothing even watchable. And the praying mantis scene is only watchable because you will just be in disbelief. But it is bad. And I mean, I'm a sucker for Argento even after his prime. I try and look for the good in the Card Player or Sleepless or Yellow or any of them. But I think we're fooling ourselves that we really want more. I hate to say it. It breaks my heart, but
Yeah, I can't say that I really want more, but I mean, I've been very tempted to watch Dracula just to kind of experience it, maybe for purposes of a review or something. But I don't know. It's kind of like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've seen a lot of the latter Argento stuff that's just not very good, and it's like, do I want to watch an Argento movie that I know is really not good? You know, because all I'm going to be thinking about is how far, he's fallen.
so how did you feel about his Phantom of the Opera?
I've not seen it. Not seen it.
What's the last Argento you saw of it chronologically?
Oh gosh, probably Giallo.
It's far worse than that.
Wow.
Was that the one right before Dracula?
It might have. It's the one with Adrian Brody. It might have been actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw Jello and I didn't hate it.
Actually, I think Third Mother was between the two.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, see, I like that one too.
Yeah. I did.
I want to like Third Mother, but
I didn't mind Mother of Tears, but it's I don't know. It's like when you compare it to Suspiria and the second Mother. Inferno, which I think is a step down from Suspiria, but still has its own merits.
it's a different beast.
It's a different animal, yeah.
And you do get Bava's last piece of film in it, so
Right.
I don't know. I just want these A24 guys are making the prospect of something like Argento returning or Carpenter coming back or any of those guys as it feels pointless to me. We have such great talent that's happening now that has their pulse, their finger on the pulse today. The best we're hoping for is not to be embarrassed by these older guys. And it's not because of their age. It's just they're never going to have the budgets. They're never going to have the talent. And by talent, I mean their directors of photography and the sound guys. And they'll never have the top tier people that they deserve. So why do it?
Oh man, he's almost 80 years old.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's a grandpa, man.
He probably is close to a great grandpa at this point.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I don't know. So if Aja wasn't out there diddling little boys, maybe he would be a grandpa.
There seems to be a reoccurring theme on this episode that I'm not terribly comfortable with.
Oh, jeez. I'm trying to think of other latter Argento films I saw, because I saw what's the one with that had Max von Sydow in it? I saw that one. Sleepless. And then I think I pretty much just said, okay, I'm done with newer Argento stuff.
Was he in Stendhal Syndrome?
She was in Stendhal Syndrome, yeah.
No.
Aja Argento was in Stendhal Syndrome.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you meant.
Oh, the one with Max von Sydow. I don't remember what that one was.
Not sure what that one is.
I don't remember. But yeah,
I don't know. Again, I think we should be focusing on the people going forward. When Ari Aster announces his next project, or when Robert Eggers announces his next project. These are the people we should concern ourselves with. When Ashwin Saravanan, or any of the people who've made a film over the last 3-5 years that really excites you, let's throw money at these guys, because I don't see. Look, again, it's much like the franchises that have gone on too long that people want to continue forever. Kind of like it's time for new talent to take behind the camera and move us to the next level of the genre. It's just kind of time to let these people go.
We're looking at you. We're looking at you, Eli.
And at the end of the month, I do plan on seeing 2 brand new horror films in the theater. I'm really looking forward to Oz Perkins' Gretel and Hansel, and The Lodge,
Yes,
with Riley Keough. And the early reception for both of those has been very, very high. So I've made the decision I'm going to see both of those in the theater.
Yes, I would like to see both of those, definitely, especially The Lodge.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna see those 2, and I think it's called The Turning. I think.
Yep.
I'm gonna see that as well. I'm gonna give it hell. I'm turning over a new leaf this year. I'm going to the theater. Started out with a bang with The Grudge.
Have you seen any of the previous adaptations of James's Turn of the Screw?
No, I have not seen anything.
Then keep it that way until you see the film, because I think where the movie goes will surprise you. I think you'll be happy.
Yeah, well, cool.
Is anybody going to go watch Underwater this weekend?
I'll see it at some point.
I'm going tonight, hopefully.
Oh, wow.
Oh, what's the quick plot synopsis on that, Piz?
Honestly, I don't know. I just know it's underwater. There's a monster underwater. Kristen Stewart.
Hell, I'll take 2.
It's someone watched Deep Star 6 and said, let's do that again.
Perfect.
I mean, but if that's the case, I'd be fine with it.
I'm actually, again, the early reviews are better than I expected to hear from it. So
Actually, the only thing I heard about it was that it's alien underwater.
Hell yeah.
Fine with that.
That's what I heard
You
somebody
realize
compare
everything
it to.
is better underwater.
That's true. That's true.
Everything's better underwater. Everything's worse up in space. So you go to the water, everything's
That's
perfection.
Christian, are you suggesting that breathing is better underwater?
I'm suggesting that Halloween
disagree.
H2O is going to get remade, and it's literally going to be Halloween H2O, and it's going to sweep the nation, sweep the globe.
Halloween H2O is better than Halloween 2018, so maybe you have something there.
Yeah. LL Cool J is getting his scuba gear, and he's going to be just like Deep Blue Sea. He's going to have his parrot with him. He's padded to the bone, son.
All right. Well, there you guys go. Our favorite. Go ahead, Lauren. What are you gonna say?
Well, I was going to say, Gretel and Hansel is coming out. We have this movement in the first quarter of this year of all these folk horror movies coming out. I think this is a good period for us, because we're not going to hit the remake/sequel craze until second quarter of the year, and then it gets pretty relentless through the end of the year. So enjoy the original stuff that's coming out in the next few months, guys.
Well, there you go. That was our lists for favorite movies and Blu-ray releases of 2019, and we threw out some of our least favorite movies of 2019 as well. So hopefully you guys were taking notes, and maybe we turned you on to some movies that you hadn't heard of, or movies that you were on the fence about from last year. And listen, let me give some shout outs to some people who are still here watching with us. Al from Russia, what's up? Steak Sauce, Borderline 11, David Vines, DJ Donnelly, The Trash Stash. How are you doing tonight, sir? Hope you're doing well. Our buddy Cole is in the chat talking about hockey, as he should. He's a Canadian. Let's see who else is with us here tonight. Yeah, that's right. Cole said that Parasite was likely number 2 on his list of favorite movies of last year also. So we saw eye to eye on that one. My buddy Jeff Overing is in the chat. Baldy Jack. Jess Graham, hello. How are you doing tonight? Oh, my buddy AJ, Jam Man Chronicles. He says The Rise of Skywalker didn't make anyone's top 5. No.
Has anyone even seen it?
No.
Lauren saw it.
I saw it.
Lauren
I'm
saw
going to see it. I just haven't yet.
It's a Star Wars movie. It looks like a Star Wars movie. I don't know what people want. I mean, if you love this stuff, maybe you'll love it. Maybe you're too close to it, you'll hate it. I don't know. All I can say is it's a Star Wars movie. It feels like a Star Wars movie.
I've not seen it yet. I've been, under the weather, so I don't know if it was a good time to be under the weather to avoid the movie in the theater or not. But
I'm
I
sure
don't
it's
know.
still playing.
Yeah, it's still playing out there somewhere. Jeremy had wanted to see it. He came down the other day and he gave me a sad face and he was like, "I missed Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker," and I was like, "I don't think you missed much, buddy, but we'll see about going. Don't worry." So we are gonna go watch a flashback screening of Blade Runner this weekend at our local
That's
theater.
cool.
So that'll be cool.
Oh, nice.
Excellent.
That'll be cool.
Enhance. Left.
Yes.
Enhance.
My favorite part.
Everyone's favorite part.
But yeah. Anything you guys want to add before we wrap up the show tonight? Are there any? Well, we mentioned quite a few movies that we're looking forward to in 2020, so we kind of covered that base. But
Yeah.
anything you guys want to add in closing before we call it a night?
God bless America.
What?
Okay. I'll support that.
Now I fully support the meteor.
Our buddy Jack Craven is in the chat tonight. Jack, how are you doing tonight, buddy? Also, Jack Craven said his personal favorites of last year were Rambo: Last Blood, Joker, and John Wick 3. David Vines says that his favorites from last year were Crawl, Haunt, Joker, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So
That's
very
one
nice.
I still need to see too.
Oh, I forgot to mention
too.
that. I like that one.
Me too.
Not seen that one.
I'm sure I'll like it. I love Tarantino, so.
Hey, Joe Reese, what's up, buddy? Hope you're doing well tonight. But all right, well, let's go ahead and call it a show there. And a big thanks to everybody who joined me tonight on the panel. Big thanks to Christian, to Jay, Lauren, and Stone Gassman. Stone Gassman, who I now know his real name. So, all right, yeah, and big thanks to everybody who hung out in the chat and watched the show tonight and shared with us their favorite movies of 2019. So you guys take care. Have a great week. We'll see you next week right here on the Sausage Factory YouTube channel. Have a great one. Take care. And peace.
Peace. We out of here.
Superb.